Remember Celine Dion said after Katrina, she said, go out there and help them in a canoe. Well, this is a kayak. And unless you have a double, you're just going to do nothing. So I can't go out there in a kayak. But beyond that, it's a pretty slow news cycle. Outside of the fact that, I don't know if you know this, Kamala Harris is now 10 points down in the poly market. Changed just since yesterday.
Wow.
10. Almost 10.
Whoa.
Almost 10 points.
Man.
The only thing that changed is she spoke. Do you guys understand that? Do you guys understand how bad that is for her? It's a personal hell for her right now. So I want to take some time today to discuss at large the problem with feminist politics, the problem with this is the year of the, and it's more subtle than with Hillary Clinton, but it's, I would argue, more pervasive. Who's the worst Gates? It's Melinda. It's Melinda Gates. We're going to get into her allocating of $1 billion for abortion. Imagine being a woman who has all of the money that you didn't earn, all of the time because of money that you didn't earn, and you've decided that your pet project is to ensure that all women can kill their babies up until and including birth, period. That's your crusade. That's what we're going to be talking about. Also, Garth Brooks, I cannot stand him. To be clear, more of a Chris Gaines guy. He has been falsely accused of rape. I say allegedly, but I'll show you the text messages. Everyone remembers the story when it went viral. Have you seen the text messages? Have you seen the character assassination that's going on? And I can't stand him, but I really hope that we start developing a culture of at least standing in the pocket on our values for people we don't like. We did it with Aziz Ansari. We did it with people who were on the left before, and it needs to be done right now. It's going into hyperdrive. And you can't have fake rape accusations make page one, and then the evidence that seems to be pretty much an exoneration be page 6. It's the year of the woman. And when I say this, I mean the year of the weak woman. Feminists are weak women. Melinda Gates, billionaire, sure, weak woman. It's not you. We're not talking about you. I think we're at the point now where you understand that we're speaking in generalities and about these specific women. And good women out there, do you think that do you think no vagina, no opinion, or would you like some guys to step in as allies here, because you're not able to clean out your own ranks? Clean rank?
Clear out. Something ranks.
I think it's clear.
I don't know.
Thin the ranks.
Yeah.
So go with us. It's a concept episode, you know, like a montage episode, like on Seinfeld or on. But this is real life. This is no Family Matters or Step by Step. Don't expect Patrick Duffy to be waltzing in here. So at some point today, you will see this.
You can see that we benefit from your
Head
friendship.
on over to Rumble. It's a
and
weekday
you from
show,
ours.
10 a.m., including tomorrow for Mug Club members. Number 2, Captain Morgan, CEO. Very physically inflexible, we found out this morning. How are you?
I've been charged.
I'm doing very well. I'm just saying it's impossible. We'll get to no.
We were going back and forth.
It's impossible.
We're going to have a docu-series that'll be leading up to the election. You will see that when we were talking about the dynamics of the male-female relationship, the Me Too, and the fake rape accusations, Gerald was fixated on the physical mechanics of the position and it being impossible.
It is.
And he found out that he's the only one who can't do it.
Yeah.
No, that's not true.
Fused spine.
Yes. You and Jimmy Carter.
Have a fuse spine.
And when you hear this, you know him, you love him. October 26th, Bricktown Comedy Club in Oklahoma City, one of the best clubs in the country. Josh Firestein, go out and support him. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I just want to tell Gerald, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's impossible or it doesn't exist.
That's exactly right.
Okay? And I'll show you after the show.
Seeing is not believing. Believing is seeing.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard.
Yeah.
You need to get a little more adventurous, Gerald.
No, it's not.
You need to get a little more
Yeah.
adventurous, because I know Miss Morgan and she deserves the best you have to offer.
And she gets it. I'm not a boob guy.
She gets.
Don't say that. You're limiting your potential. I'm trying to give you some saving grace here. Speaking of rape, what? This professor at the University of Kansas, who now is apparently on leave, so this isn't necessarily a new clip, but some of you may have missed this. I want to touch on everything that this professor at the University of Kansas says is wrong. Warning, there's a death threat.
Guys are smarter than girls. You got some serious problems.
Must be the track coach, too.
That's what frustrates me. There are going to be some males in our society that will refuse to vote for a potential female president because they don't think females are smart enough to be president. We could line all those guys up and shoot them. They clearly don't understand the way the world works.
Not you. You can't touch your toes.
Scratch that from the recording. I don't want the deans hearing that I said that.
Well, they did, and it's not from scratch. Oops. And everything that he just said is factually incorrect. This is the lazy straw manning you see from the left. I get it's funny. He's on leave. Okay, he's a moron. He kind of looks like an albino Fetterman. But there are some men who won't vote for a woman because they think that guys are smarter than girls. Nope. That's not why. There are some men, and a lot of women, by the way, according to polls, who are concerned about voting for someone completely unqualified solely because they are a woman. And yeah, I will tell you this, in general, men are probably concerned. We don't actually think that women are less intelligent than men. I don't know a single guy who thinks that. I know that most men believe that, as a general rule, women are more emotional and reactive, and we would be concerned if someone in a position of leadership reflexively responding in a way that could be a liability for the country. Hey, women, do you think that's completely unreasonable? It's not true that men won't vote for a woman because they think that we're smarter than them. And someone needs to tell them how the world works. That's also untrue.
Yeah, the world works by lighting up your enemies and shooting them.
Yeah.
That's how the world works.
And I guess what he's saying is the world works by acknowledging that women are smarter than men. Oh, shut. No. How the world works is men have led the world since the beginning of time up until now. He may not like it, but that's how the world works. Nothing that this professor has said is factually observable. And the part that's least offensive to me is the actual death threat. I don't care.
That's true.
I care that he's a moron.
But the world's not works like you do something like that. You get
Yes, you do.
I don't think that guy knows how to chamber around.
no.
That guy gets manicures.
That guy gets winded giving a lecture. Do you hear him? He sounds
Yeah.
like how fat guys talk. He's just sitting there, you know, line him up and shoot him.
Wait, did I just say that?
I need to take a breath between shots.
What is he shooting? Dessert shots? Line him up, I'll shoot. Key lime pie, tiramisu.
Why would that be the most offensive thing, too? Like, you're like looking at a list of crimes that a white male can commit. Thinking that women aren't smart is not chief amongst them.
Guys don't think that.
I wonder if he teaches like criminal law or whatever it's
Or civil law.
called. Or whatever it's called.
Yes, oh, okay. Well,
Or you nailed it, which is weird.
I'm not going to lie. When you said that, it stumped me for a second.
I know,
Wait,
me
what
too,
is the
me
term
too.
for criminal law?
I was like, oh no, how dumb do I sound right now?
It's the straw manning. It's the straw manning. It's like, look, the reason they won't vote for women is because these dummies think that women are stupider than guys. But that's not true, though. If you want to address the concern that a lot of women have, and yeah, I would say a majority of men have, it's about the emotional response that we tend to see among most women, not all women, in positions of leadership. That's a legitimate concern. If you want to say that that's stupid and present some data, that's one thing. But to say, well, you just think that women are stupid. I don't know a single man who thinks that women are stupid. I don't. I genuinely don't know a single guy who thinks that. And I've spent time with those in the red pill community who some of them genuinely hate women, but not because they're stupid.
Yeah, it's for other reasons.
Yeah.
Usually because they're too smart.
Yeah.
Like, she's too smart. She figured out all my things I'm doing, all my lies.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, let's split the difference here and just be honest about it. And why would anyone want to vote for Kamala Harris? By the way, she is stupid. She is stupider than most guys. Not all women, but Kamala, yes, she's a dumb person. That's why the polls have her a 10-point spread right now, because she's speaking too much. Gosh. But why would they vote for Kamala Harris when they could vote for this?
Fight for you. I didn't have to be here. I could be in a beautiful beach. I could be in a gorgeous beach somewhere in the world. The sun beaming down on this beautiful body in a bathing suit.
That's right.
The sun would be beaming down. The waves would be crashing into my face.
Why?
Instead, I'm here with you in Pennsylvania, and I'd rather be doing that.
You can see the moment it dawned on him that, like, oh wait, this is gonna be a real dump on Pennsylvania, unless it's, and I like it that way.
That's right. Why are the waves crashing into his face, though? That doesn't sound pleasant at all.
Because I'm not afraid of sharks, bitch.
Yeah.
I go into the deep. I go all the way up to the face because I'm not afraid. Some people say you shouldn't, but did you know, Pennsylvania, you probably didn't know that most shark attacks occur in 3 feet of water or less. That's why I go deep.
It always goes deep.
Stop it.
All right, that's all. I just love that clip. Let's go to this hurricane going on. Of course, our hearts go out to everyone in Florida and the people, the good people of Rumble. We know that this is going to be, it's really turning out to be a pretty rough one. Category 3 Milton. You wouldn't know it from the name.
No, Milton's not a very threatening name.
Yeah, mild Milton is what it sounds like.
Yeah. Sounds like a neighbor.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I got some extra of the pork butt on the smoker if you want some.
Oh, that guy's so boring.
Milton, you're boring, but
Thanks, I
I
guess.
prefer having you as a neighbor as a potential.
They gotta have a scary name for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Hurricane Miguel.
That's not really scary.
Carlito.
No, you're right. Mike?
Hurricane
I'm sorry.
Merchant of Death.
Ah, that
Yes.
one works.
That's
Yeah,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
So for those of you who haven't seen it, it's actually really left millions of people without power and without basic resources. And the reason this is relevant now is because during the VP debate, they talked about the hurricane, obviously, Helene at that point, and what? Helene. It's okay.
Helene.
And then they pivoted right away to climate change. So when you have the left saying, "Oh, people on the right, they're not willing to offer solutions," and well, hold on a second, you see what's happening, you see the destruction. Is it the government's job to hope and pray and wish that China will play ball with some international accord right now at this moment in time? Or help the people who you've sworn to serve? You're a public servant, right? Well, I think you know the answer. On MSNBC, they have people like Bill Nye, who basically says the quiet part out loud. So did Tim Walz, where they're talking about climate change and voting Kamala. That's the solution to hurricanes.
This is it, everybody. The other side has no plans to address climate change. No plans for long-term dealing with these sorts of problems. If you have young voters out there, encourage them to vote. People say, what can I do about climate change? If we were talking about it, associating it with big storms like this, that would be really good. But the main thing is vote.
Okay. Well, hold on a second. There are people there who are dying and are without power. Maybe before they talk about some international accord where if everybody played ball, because everybody in every nation is inherently altruistic and certainly their leaders, maybe you could focus on getting them water, getting them energy. Maybe you could focus on helping your fellow citizen. This is the ultimate problem, right, with the leftists, is the government is the charity. This is why statistically they are not charitable people. They don't take, the left doesn't take it upon themselves to help their neighbors. The government does it. It's the Ebenezer Scrooge. Are there no prisons? Are there no poorhouses? Yeah, well, it's the Republicans' fault because even though they're far more charitable, you can read this in the book, Who Really Cares by Brooke. We've referenced it multiple times. The single biggest indicators of someone being charitable is their religion, namely, are they Christian? Their political affiliation, namely Republican. It's not their income level. It's not their geography. It's not the state they're in. If they're Christian, if they're conservative, they give more. Those people, Christian conservatives, I guarantee you, are giving more personally to hurricane relief efforts. People like Bill Nye, he says the government needs to fix climate change. By the way, don't know if you know this, that Joe Biden was the least charitable public servant ever.
Gave used underwear, I think, one time.
He did.
Tidy whities.
Gave less than 0.1% to charity. Isn't it nice to have a worldview where as long as you support and you say the right things, echoing the sentiment that we need to have a giant centralized government who can be Santa Claus, it's not incumbent upon me to actually help my fellow man. That's why it's an evil ideology. Unless, of course, it's stepping in and performing an abortion, because that's the Lord's work. It's all so tiresome.
The dark.
It is. And by the way, why would you tie it to this hurricane? Why would you say climate change made this hurricane? Florida doesn't get hit by hurricanes that are strong. By the way, it was a Category 3 when it hit. We've never had a Category 3 hurricane hit Florida.
Well, it's because you never let a good crisis go to waste.
Right.
Yes, it's like you're just kind of aimlessly throwing it out there. And by the way, if you want climate change to be really addressed in this world and you think everything that you believe about it is true, do it in Mandarin. Doesn't matter if the rest of the world does everything you say. If it's not in Chinese, they won't have any impact at all on policies you're promoting. So until you start getting China on board, don't talk.
Right, they keep bringing these titles to something like the hurricane is. But if you look at their own sources, CBS News, the online CBSNews.com, they have a list. Top 25 worst hurricanes, most devastating hurricanes in U.S. history. The top 10 has 2 within the last 35 years.
Yeah. Good point.
And then even top 5. So it's like your own sources, your own mouths.
Yeah.
Contradict yourselves every day.
And this is This is their, it really is tiresome, isn't it? Amongst themselves at their cocktail parties, did you see that I said that Donald Trump was a fascist and he said that climate change is the reason for the hurricane? Yeah, sorry, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you over the sounds of death wails.
What they sound like.
They're never pleasant.
Oh, wailing. I think like an animal.
Oh, like a death whale?
Like a whale of death.
Those aren't pleasant either.
Yeah, it was like, dude, wait.
They death wail through so.
Units have been rallied.
These talking points, though, they're tired and they are nothing. Cold in my hands and feet. You did. Maybe I should bring this one.
Cigars.
So, and by the way, people out there, if we kind of figure out what it is that we can go to FloridaDisasterFund.org. That is the safe disaster relief. And, give what you can. Don't leave it just to talking heads to discuss climate change and think that, all right, we're good. I don't know if you know this, it has arguably no effect. Now, let's get to the issue here. A lot of you may not know because you're afraid of Bill Gates. You don't like him. He's weird. And there are a lot of conspiracy theories out there that are not true about Bill Gates, but there are a lot of truths that are incredibly evil about Bill Gates, just to be clear about that. And I'm not going to have time to get into all of it. But you may not know that the ex-wife of Bill Gates is just as bad. Less qualified. She's contributed less to society or really anything as a whole, but still has a lot of money. And that's a recipe for damage. But before we get to that, let's push out here. Election. And what does that mean? It means that the left, they have one issue where they think they can gain some momentum. No, it's not the economy. No, it's not inflation. No, it's not conservative. No, it's not the state of democracy. It's abortion.
Let's talk about abortion. 6-week abortion, man. Women's rights and abortion. The issue of abortion. It's abortion. Abortion is one of the biggest issues. On the issue of abortion, abortion shouldn't be an issue. Abortion is an important issue.
The fight is over abortion.
So abortion rights is an economic issue.
Intersectionality of race and sex, gender, is at the crux of this abortion issue.
You mispronounced cucks.
I like to watch from the corner. It makes me feel alive.
Wow.
I like to watch Gerald Morgan fail at basic sexual positions that he believes are physically impossible.
In the scenario described, it's impossible.
Nothing is impossible.
If you believe,
If you believe,
You can achieve.
nice. Nice rhyme.
the good Lord made your body and your hips to be flexible and adaptive.
My problem is with deltoid strength.
You are an affront to God.
We're taking a vote.
Yeah.
I'm right.
Boy, there are, by the way, I don't believe that liberals are stupid people. Just who they have as representatives right now. It's not a good bench.
Al Sharpton's a stupid person.
He's a very, very dumb person. I know what you're thinking. They're going to attack him and say it's because he's black. Come on, guys. Let's move beyond that. He's stupid, and his blackness has nothing to do with it. Al Sharpton is a moron.
Hey, he's just benefiting from an opportunity economy.
Yes, exactly.
When he sees an opportunity for money, he takes it.
That's exactly right.
It's pronounced opportunity.
Okay, sorry.
Economy.
Sorry. Honorable Reverend. Excuse me.
Honorable.
So, Melinda Gates. Let's get into this. We're talking about abortion. Melinda Gates has now committed $1 billion of her ex-husband's money to promote abortion. She's starting to allocate that right now. Self-nominated billionaire, Melinda Gates. So, to give you an idea, and this is where we are, right? We're talking about the spirit of the law versus the letter of the law. I understand the reason for some divorce laws out there. Hey, the guy runs off with the secretary.
Right, yeah.
You've given all your time and energy. All right, you should be taken care of. You'd think that's maybe covered with a cap at like 50 million. Maybe $1 billion. But Melinda Gates, who now has this money and is seeking to do irreparable damage here in the United States, she got $2.4 billion the same day the divorce was announced. Okay, so 12.5 billion from Bill Gates, well, I guess she did from the foundation. She did the foundation then when she resigned from it. So her total net worth today is $29 billion. And to be clear, she dated someone after Bill Gates who was a teacher and broke up because he didn't make enough money. So.
Is that why?
Well, she didn't know that going in? It's the only billionaire teacher out there?
Yeah, and you know what? It's dangerous. That's why you have a bunch of celebrities who don't understand how money works. It's not the same as business owners. A lot of them get their money because they were born gorgeous, or they were born with a good voice, and they've been successful since they were young. And so a lot of, not saying it doesn't take hard work, but a lot of them feel guilty about it because they feel like there's a stroke of luck. Someone like Melinda Gates doesn't know what it takes to actually build something from the ground up. And I have no idea how often the filleting was taking place, but it certainly wasn't worth $29 billion. So she's now a single-issue voter, this self-non-made billionaire, and it's abortion. This country is being held hostage by an extreme voice. And the worst part is this extreme faction of the left, the American public doesn't even recognize this. People go, yeah, okay, I guess I'm for abortion. I guess these people are pro-life. No. The Democrat Party, the DNC, the platform, if you say I am a Democrat, you're a registered Democrat, you're running for that party platform, you have to run on a platform that says abortion all the way up to and including birth, period, no exceptions. There is no platform B. I think that's extreme. And I think that Melinda Gates giving $1 billion to ensure that states don't have the right to, I don't know, for example, state a heartbeat bill or a first trimester limitation. I think it's evil. You can comment below. I don't know at what point you look behind you, see the pillars of salt, and say, oh my God, we passed Sodom and Gomorrah. So here is Melinda Gates. Also, I believe this is her endorsing Kamala.
In this election, women's rights, our reproductive rights, are so fundamental. And there was a candidate that believed in them from the beginning, and there was a candidate who didn't and rolled them back. And when you look at issues like paid family medical leave that every other high-income country has, when you look at caregiving, I feel like Kamala, I was happy to endorse her. I worked with her before. She knows what we need in society, and she's using her voice against those issues.
Well, you have paid work leave. It's called marrying a billionaire.
It's actually called divorcing a billionaire.
Yeah, and then fleecing the guy. And when she says, this is the big thing too, this is a feminist mindset. It's every other country, hold on a second, and you'll see this in relationships a lot. It's, well, yeah, every other country, for example, may have paid medical leave. Or they'll say, every other country has some kind of socialized healthcare system. Okay. So you see the good of that country, but do you see the bad? What about the fact that they have 4 times the mortality rate for diseases like cancer, or sometimes neurodegenerative conditions? What about the fact that they have no defenses of which to speak? They have no actual military that can protect the world, and that's why we have to spend the money so that we can protect Ukraine, because even all of NATO combined can't do it. They look at one portion and say, all these countries have this, and you say, yes, but none of those countries have, and then you can list hundreds of accolades and accomplishments that exist exclusively to America, including, by the way, the inventions that we create that then benefit the other countries of the world who subsidize said inventions and innovation. All of these countries have X, sure, but no other country has Y. Let's start with the First Amendment, freedom of speech. That's right, you hate it. The Second Amendment, oh, that's right, you hate it. Modern medical innovation, almost all of it comes from the United, oh, that's right, you hate it. Energy independence, freedom. It's the country where the most amount of people want in the history of mankind. So you look at one part of the equation, and you don't take into account the other part. And you see that a lot with feminists in relationships. Well, I wanted a man who had X, Y, Z, but I wanted a man who was successful, who was wealthy, who was driven. But it turns out he's not soft and he's hard to live with. And my friends' husbands, they have guys who do whatever she asks, but they're doormats. I didn't want that. So I want a non-doormat, but I also want him to be a doormat when I need him to. I want a man who can make a lot of money, but I also want a man who's not that difficult to live with. I want a country that can provide me safety, freedom, security, but I also want free shit. You signed up for the deal, and then you choose not to honor it. That's the mindset that you see. And it's the reason that close to 40% of young men are never going to get married, because they feel as though it's an inequitable arrangement at this point. And then they look for proof And they see Exhibit A, Melinda Gates.
Yeah, and by the way, she's even starting off her argument. Can you name for me the rollbacks that Donald Trump did on abortion?
Exactly.
Didn't do anything. He put justices on the court who then decided a case correctly. If you have a problem, go to the states. I don't know how many times this needs to be said.
She also calls it reproductive rights when abortion is the exact opposite of reproduction.
Yes.
Right.
Is deproduction. Actually.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's women's health. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I always think of women's health involving stirrups.
Can you get rid of the
internal bleeding.
disease in my belly?
Yeah, exactly.
That's called a child.
They see it as a parasite. And just don't be fooled by this idea that the left is pro-choice on anything. I'll get to that. They are anti-choice on every single issue except for the bad choices that you can make that turn your brain into mush. Like abortion, like drugs, like porn. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to partake. I'm saying that it's kind of odd that the only issues on which the left is radically pro-choice and they're willing to invest billions of dollars is to keep abortion and porn and free drugs alive. We'll get to that. But she sits there talking about this world. It's like she's just creating a dream job. Like, paid leave. You should be able to, like being a professional ice cream taster. This is the kind of thing. Well, that looks fun.
That's a child's dream.
She left Bill Gates to pursue her passion of being an elite puppy cuddler. Don't know if you know that.
Elite, huh?
It's not a thing.
Oh, that's why
are they on a factory line? Oh my God!
That's Fauci's factory.
Oh, that's China. That's China. They're going to end up being a hamburger. We're fine.
We get last meals. They get last cuddles.
But it's got to be Melinda Gates. Kill me now!
That's how you kill them. Actually, they get suffocated.
What? You have 29 billion, and I'm still eating kibbles and bits?
Yeah. By the way, hey, look. If you really are for paid family medical leave, whatever plans you have $29 billion with which to make it happen. Just be the change you want to see.
$29 billion. She can't fix her teeth. That's crazy to me. That's crazy.
She chooses not to.
It's a time equation.
She's like a hockey player. She's going to finish out her season and get them fixed after. Only she's not doing it because she knows they'll get knocked out next game. She's doing it because, she knows the meth will take care of it. So.
Got to wait until they're really gone.
She wants to make sure people just like her because of her money.
Yes, exactly.
My character.
So this is one thing. She's spending $1 billion, allocating $1 billion for abortion. And just think about this for a second. The crusade that you're seeing from these people, Kamala Harris, and their biggest supporters like Melinda Gates, is we can't allow abortion to be given to the states. There can't be a limitation of a heartbeat. There can't be a limitation of only the first 2 trimesters, even though we've said that there are no late-term abortions taking place. We can't have it. I'm going to give $1 billion to ensure that that baby in your womb can die all the way up to day 8 months and 8 months and 29 days. I know we're going by a general thing, but month 9, okay? That's your reason for being involved. Nothing else gets your ass off the couch.
How many kids does she have?
I don't know.
Do they?
I don't know.
The Gateses have kids?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't know because I don't know if she had other relationships afterwards. With the teacher who she didn't make enough money.
Well, she's donated $1 million to her own abortion, so.
Yeah. So let's look at this. They say they're pro-choice. Let's look at the issues on which Democrats are pro-choice. Abortion, we know, but I've really kind of been mining this for a while, and I've only come up with 3. And it always involves the choices that are bad for you. Now, at least libertarians are consistent. They say, well, you should be able to do whatever you want. Your body, your choice. And they sort of sidestep the science of abortion. And that's fine. I think we can have a rational discussion with those people. And I do think that people should not be locked up for partaking in weed. And that's not really happening because it's basically legal anywhere at this point. But I'm certainly not going to make my crusade ensuring that people can turn their brain into Swiss cheese. So let's compare where the left is pro-choice. And you please comment below the issues that we could give them some credit for actually being consistent with pro-choice. I've come up with 3. So, choice. They are pro-choosing abortion, right? That's a big... We're pro-choice with abortion.
Reproductive freedom is an inviolable and inalienable right to all people.
Okay, so pro-choice. But so you should be able to choose an abortion. You should not be able to choose your vehicle, the vehicle that you drive. You look at the Green New Deal, they wanted to eliminate every single gas-powered car. And then you look at these quotas and you look at these limitations on SUVs, on bigger vehicles. Vehicles that are safe, vehicles that are comfortable for large families, the kind of families that you shouldn't have if you follow their depopulation policies. So yeah, you should be able to choose abortion. We'll use that term and not murder right now. You should not be able to choose the vehicle that you drive that you purchase with your own money through a voluntary agreement with goods and services at your local dealer.
By the way, it's an inalienable right for all people except men. Sorry, AOC, you forgot that. Except for men who don't want their person to kill their child.
Let's look at the other issue where the left is very, very, very pro-choice. They are pro. They are very pro. And this is not even me saying that I disagree with it. Super pro-drug. You should be able to choose any drugs that you want to use. For proof, you can see what happens in Washington. It's legalizing, decriminalizing, but even more than that, normalizing. They'll even go so far as saying, wake and bake, just get medicated. But choose drugs.
Broken and running for their lives.
You should be able to choose the health care that you want. No, we've got to make sure that we go to a public option, which effectively means one option, the government's option. Also, you shouldn't be able to choose if you get vaccinated. You shouldn't be able to choose if you're allowed to reopen your business. The government should be able to choose that. So we're pro-abortion, we're pro-drug, choosing those. We're anti-choosing your vehicle. We're anti-school choice. We're anti being able to choose your health care plan. You know, the kinds of things that you can actually choose yourself to positively affect the life of your family. Let me ask you this. Which choice affects your day-to-day and the ability to provide, protect, and serve your family? Abortion or the health care plan for your family? Or the vehicle that you use for your family? Or choosing the school that your kids go to? How much on it? Is any of this pro-family, pro-society? I'm not saying that we should ban all the things we don't like, but I am talking about a worldview that is so pervasive. If you were to only look at the issues that the left decides all of a sudden matters as it relates to freedom and choice, retreat! It seems like they only choose the ones that would turn you into a zombie mush brain state. Let's look. They're very pro, isn't it? Very pro-porn. And this comes, by the way, we can bring directly from Melinda Gates. Hands off my porn, right? That's part of her new crusade. Hands off my porn. Well, what do you have to worry about? But not school. So choose porn. School? No. We can't. With school choice, that's absurd.
No.
We could, an intermediary step where instead of just giving money to one public school, let's make a voucher program where it's attached to the student, so even though it's publicly funded, they would have to compete for the dollar. Absolutely not. That is fascism. But the porn is good. Hey, I don't know if you know this, sex work is real work.
Just challenge everyone to have a dinner table conversation about it and talk about why it's important to you to take action to destigmatize sex work and help the fight for decriminalization.
It's not on me.
Let me give you a study. Let me give you a study that you will never see, that will never take place, and I will bet my life on the results if it was ever conducted. Follow people over the course of their life. Okay? If you could run this study, and you follow one group of people who simply make the choices that are advocated by the left. So, in one group, you have people who experiment either working in or using pornography their entire life, drugs because they're pro-choice, and have had multiple abortions. Okay, they do that and they go through the public school system, they go through Medicaid, Medicare. Okay, then the other option is Christian conservatives who don't have any abortions, who choose the vehicles that they want to drive, who get to choose the school, who avoid pornography, who avoid drugs, and see at the end of their lives who says, you know what, I lived right, I have no regrets. They'll never tell you that. If you follow this trail that the left is advocating for you under the guise of choice, you will have a miserable existence, a sad, lonely existence. You will look back on the ruin that your life has become and said, boy, why did I buy the lie?
Yeah. One person would have no regrets, and the other one would have no regrets tattooed on them.
Yes.
With lots and lots of regrets, including the tattoo.
Yeah. Right. So this is hands off my porn. Hands off my porn is the campaign.
Hands off. It's not a Melinda Gates campaign. I don't think it's just. It's a campaign pushing for.
She was supporting it.
Yeah, supporting it
there.
Yeah,
Thank God she's not acting.
Yeah.
I mean, with those teeth, though.
That's the only OnlyFans account with $0 coming.
No, it's a very popular pornography category. Middling former housewife.
Yeah, just one subscriber. It's Bill Gates.
It's costing her money.
Come back to me, please.
So they have testimonials as hands off my porn campaign, like this.
Oh, great.
This is from Little Puck. It's time to ditch the stigma and fight for real protection. We deserve not only safety, but some effing respect on our name.
Oh, really?
Really? Why?
Hold on, did you see that picture? Did you see the picture? There's respect there? Nah.
Why? Because you have a tongue?
Respect?
No.
Look, I don't know if you know that respect, and by the way, people deserve the basic respect as all human beings do. That being said, you have basic respect, base level, as a human being, right? Because we are all fearfully, wonderfully created by God, even porn stars. Everything else after that is earned. I don't know about you, that's what I teach my kids.
Yep.
I teach my kids, I have twins, boy, girl. And I teach them, look, you're not guilty of anything simply for being born a white male or white female, and you're not perfect because you're female in the air of the woman, and your virtue signaling doesn't matter. You are both born with a base level of value in the eyes of the Creator. Everything else is earned. It's your actions that define you, not what you say. That's what I teach them. If you think that's harsh, you're probably a leftist, but that's what I teach them. And we go, okay, how is the respect earned? Typically, respect is earned through doing something atypical, through doing something extraordinary. For example, creating or inventing something, or having a work ethic, or leading a group of people. Your community benefits from your leadership. Your family benefits. Doing the thing that all human beings have done since the beginning of time, but most people don't do on camera for money because they find it shameful, is not worthy of extra respect. I'm not saying that you're subhuman. I'm not saying you should be mistreated, but it doesn't meet the bar as far as worthy of respect. People you say, hey, show some respect. The man's a war hero. Right. Let's change it. Hey, show some respect. She has an OnlyFans.
Yeah. How about if you want respect on your name, first of all, why don't you start with your real name? Second of all, why don't you start with the actors in the film with you?
You're right.
I don't think I've ever seen a porn where the guy's like, I respect you, I respect you.
Yeah. And you know what else? I guarantee you those male porn stars never, and by the way, we know, men are disgusting. We're animals. We think about it all the time. I know what you're thinking about. Hey, is someone in the studio right there thinking about it right now? I guarantee it because of the topic at hand. But not one guy who's acted in porn has been sitting around at a banquet and some guy came up and said, hey man, I just want you to know, I really respect what you do, really admire it. But the difference is we know it. We know it. Men aren't going around saying respect and honor me because I screw on camera. It's only women who demand respect, and women meaning feminists, women who demand respect for things that are not wholly respectable. Hands off my porn, right, is the slogan.
It's crazy, these people. Little Puck.
Yeah.
What a name.
Yeah, all right. I thought you had a
No, we have
thing there about
skipped over a quote. There was another quote right here. There you go. There.
Oh,
from Josh.
Oh, from Josh.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Josh. Josh is quoting a hands off my porn
Yeah.
campaign.
No.
Yeah, just read it.
It says, "You want my porn? I dare you to come and take it out of my cold, crusty yet supple hands. Then spank me and call me daddy." Josh.
No. Where did you guys get that?
I'm thinking you're a chameleon.
So they can monitor the internet here?
Oh, Josh.
Oh, it's a requirement.
Oh no.
Yeah. Also, you don't need to use your work phone for that.
No.
Like it would be less damning if you just use your personal phone.
Just trying to show respect.
Okay.
Yeah, put some respect on his name. And call him daddy for some reason.
But we think this whole
what he
country,
said.
this whole country is being held hostage. And you know what'll happen too? Hey, by the way, what are the rates of ED now for like men under the age of 40 or 30? It's astronomical.
We've actually,
dude, it's crazy how many Blue Chew commercials I get.
Research actually sent in under 30, 8%, and then 30 to 39, 11%.
Yeah, I've read numbers that are significantly higher now. Maybe intermittent ED, but it's all Blue Chew's advertisements.
It's everything I want.
If it was a small market, you wouldn't have advertisements for Viagra, Cialis, and Blue Chews with demographics of 20-year-olds. If you put me on Blue Chew, you'd have to raise the furniture like a Great Dane's tail.
I'm watching Inside Out 2 at the movie theater. They got a preview for Blue Chew before, and I'm like, how young are they trying to get these kids?
It's one of the archetypes in the brain. Oh, that's sad. That's horny. I want to go.
There's a horn dog emotion.
I'm Blue Chewed up. Just pulling levers.
And then immediately just tired.
Yes.
Yeah.
Freaking sleepy.
As a 25-year-old, my problem was I couldn't get it to go away.
Yes, I know.
I need the opposite of Blue Chew. What's the opposite of Blue Chew?
I don't know. Like an anti-aching coagulant? I have no idea.
Gerald needs one right now. A slide whistle? That's
Get me the-
that's the anecdote. Okay.
Get me the sponsorship from the anti-vascularity drug. Like high-tension cable wires. Point is, porn is not, you have the right to, not good. And by the way, I'm not talking about all, I get that there are different levels to it, and nudie mags. And look, we're Christian conservatives, but it's not lost on me that you and your loved one are sexting. I get it. There's a whole different world of consensual relationships monogamously. There's almost nothing there can be perverse. Okay, we're not prudes. I don't give a rat's ass. We're talking about an industry that is being marketed and pumped into the brains of young men, largely young men, whose brains have not developed yet to the point where they have had thousands of climaxes before they've experienced one sexual encounter in real life. And the rules that you're looking at, the regulations, for example, in Texas, require some kind of confirmation of age. You know, what were required for all pornography and cigarettes at gas stations when you used to have to buy them, or at the hotel when you'd have to do a pay-per-view. Now, that's an infringement upon your rights. But it's not to force you to force you to pay for a school that you don't want to go to and to force you to send your child there. None of that. No, that's not a crime against humanity. It's not being able to access your scat pornography. And here's one thing, too. Melinda Gates, a big reason for this is she doesn't live in the real world. And I don't just mean that because she's rich. I know plenty of rich people who've earned it. She didn't earn this wealth.
Perhaps you will
She
go find
still has to pay taxes like the rest of us, though she doesn't understand it.
In our people's name, I ask with all due
What's going on, man? What are you so stressed about?
as long as our strength remains.
We
would
I don't
be
think that
honored
one's
to
gonna
count
help.
you a chosen.
Would you accidentally saw another woman in half, trying to figure out how much the funeral's gonna cost? What?
I mean, it wasn't necessarily it.
Well, I mean, what's all this? Was this your Hogwarts homework?
No.
Gotta have potions in by Monday? What is this, dude?
I've already graduated.
Would you just find out Chris Angel's not a real angel or a magician?
Well, that's debatable. I mean,
I don't really think so.
Yeah, well, I mean, no. I mean, what I'm doing, I can't figure. I'm trying to do my taxes. I'm late again, and there's all these numbers. I feel like they're gonna send me to prison.
Oh man, they're not gonna do that. Look, check this out. Tax Network USA. That can help you, dude. They're magicians. They make your taxes disappear. Kinda. Well, no pun intended. I didn't mean to offend you, but.
No harm, no foul.
But yeah, they can also do bookkeeping, and they can help you with your finances all through the year. So check that out, man.
Wow.
Yeah, they can help you deduct all your silly string and your rope you tie women up in your basement. I don't know what you're doing, but yeah.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, my
Really
pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Really
see
gonna
ya.
help.
Oh, before I forget, promo code Crowder. When you go to tnusa.com, promo code Crowder, yeah, they'll hook you up. So,
Thanks a lot.
yeah.
Don't let the IRS take advantage of you. Contact Tax Network USA for immediate relief and expert guidance. You can call 1-800-245-6000 or visit tnusa.com/Crowder.
Yeah, for all of you who actually work for a living. Everyone who works for a living, stand up. Melinda Gates, not so fast.
No. Not her.
Go to tnusa.com/Crowder. They have been incredibly helpful. Let's continue with this, the world being held hostage, America being held hostage. That's what this election represents. And a big part of it has been feminism. You may think that Me Too is over because, everyone's kind of tired of it. It's still happening. And I think it's important to stand in the pocket for people you don't like. And I don't think there's any more proof of that can be exhibited than today, where I am going to defend Garth Brooks.
You know you love low plays.
I can't stand him. I don't like him. I think his music sucks, and he's phony. And I don't understand the Chris Gaines thing at all. That being said, this man doesn't. Let me say. It doesn't appear this man raped this woman that was front page everywhere. I don't know if he's raped anybody else, but have you seen the follow-up texts that have been presented by Jane Doe, the victim?
As evidence?
Of Garth Brooks as evidence. I'm going to get to this in a second. So we have this contingency holding people hostage, and they cannot be questioned. They are beyond any type of critical examination because, hey, they have tits. And that's not all women. It's just these women in particular. And bitches of a feather flock together. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? So you guys can comment below. Garth Brooks. He was sued, accused of sexual assault battery. You probably saw this about 2 weeks ago. There was a follow-up that happened kind of this weekend and then came to a crescendo 2 days ago. But for some reason, people aren't covering it. And this is why I believe that false accusations of rape should be punished the exact same as rape.
A new lawsuit accuses country music star Garth Brooks of sexual assault and battery. The anonymous woman who filed the complaint says she worked as a hairstylist and makeup artist for the award-winning singer. Garth Brooks denies the allegations. He calls them extortion.
Yeah. So she worked as a makeup artist, right, for Brooks's, I guess, wife. What she accused him of doing was she went to his hotel room. He came out naked, and she says that he dangled her upside down by the ankles. And this is the position that Gerald had.
Just listen to that.
She gives him dangling her upside down by the ankles and raping her.
Time out, time out, time out.
What part of that is physically impossible?
Okay. Dangling somebody upside down, I would be shocked if Garth Brooks at 62, in the pudgy form that he now manifests, could dangle anything upside down.
Yeah, but when he takes his super blue chew serum, he turns into Chris Gaines.
Yeah, but all the blood leaves those muscles and goes somewhere else. That's the whole point of the pill. I don't know if you've seen that priapism, 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's called a win, my friend.
It is. Especially if your doctor is female.
Don't judge a singer by his trucker body. That's what I always say.
Listen, it's like hanging somebody upside down and you're like, oh, that could possibly happen. It's like somebody can do a handstand. How many times is somebody being hanged upside down by their ankles, being raped, saying, here, let me make this easier on your deltoids. I'll put my hands on the ground for you. Wouldn't you be squirming and not putting your hands on the ground? I guarantee you this didn't happen.
That's true. I would imagine that most rape victims pull like the kid move, where they just go limp and you can't carry them at all. They're not supporting you like a wrestler, where they're getting you over.
That one thing, I was like, that's physically impossible
I also
in that
feel
scenario.
the need to point out that it doesn't say that he was dangling her upside down by the ankles while raping her. It says and raping her.
Well, it does.
As a separate thing.
So that's just a form of foreplay.
No,
yes.
no.
You know what I'm gonna do later?
No.
I'm gonna Suge Knight you. I'm gonna dangle you by your ankle.
You don't walk into court and bury the lead like rape you get to in 3 minutes, but he also dangled me upside down by my ankles and the blood rushed to my head. Oh, and later he raped me. No, that doesn't.
So did the same thing happen with Vanilla Ice?
There was the rest of it too.
Shut up. Didn't
Look, you can talk about hypotheticals all day, Gerald, but let's try it.
Kamala doesn't deal in
It's not
hypotheticals.
possible.
Gerald never dated a gymnast.
No wheel barrel for you.
That's willing. I'm saying in rape, I'm sure somebody's not putting their hands down. Let me help you with this.
You ever heard of chloroform, Gerald?
She was trying to crawl away.
Yes.
Chloroform would make it worse.
Oh.
Gerald knows.
We're getting off track, guys.
I'm right. Chat, you tell me what you
But
think
here's the
is
thing. So she was okay. So rape. I don't like Garth Brooks. People readily they came out and said, "Oh, Garth Brooks, the rapist."
Finally.
This is the problem with the court of public opinion. Believe very little of what you read and believe nothing that you read initially, and then very little of what you see and hear, unfortunately. So here's how some things didn't add up. This plaintiff continued working for Brooks after the incident, waited 5 years to file a suit, and there was no police report filed. But she said it's because she needed to make money. Okay, so you were dangled from your ankles, forcibly raped, but your priorities were to continue collecting a check.
When you could have got a huge check.
Right.
The Lord has
And here's what we just saw this week. This person, the plaintiff, released text messages saying, this man forced me to sext him. First off, I don't even know how that works.
Yeah, how do you
force someone to sext you? Is it like the old like LAN, like computer games where you're all connected in one room and he's like, send me, say what you want to do to me. I don't understand how you force someone to sext you. I don't imagine that many rapists are forcing sexting. But she presented this evidence, and I had to read this 2 or 3 times to think, oh, this must be what he presented. No, she presented this, where she showed some sex, where she redacted a portion up there and then said, warm fact, this is her, and that huge stick you carry, Roosevelt. And he said, I'll take that nickname, thank you, I love you. Think about that. Do many rape victims give pet names to their rape victims, to their rapist's penis? Do you typically compliment the rapist's device? And does he respond with, oh, well, thank you, I received that compliment, and I love you? What are you going to do? The next thing, the rapist's going to come in and ask you how you feel about children? If you want to adopt? That alone, I go, oh, okay, no.
No, That's...
Nope, because at the very least, we've now added a complication where there was not clearly consensual intimate relations. Well, why do you say that? Because you called us Dick Roosevelt.
Gotta give credit where credit's due. Yeah.
Well,
she's just calling balls and strikes.
I don't know. No.
Yeah, does it happen to any other rapists? Does any other rapists get their member nicknamed by their victim?
Yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer's victim. They knew him as Pookie. Casey's victims knew him as Giggles. That's just Giggles.
They called Bill Cosby's dick Puddin' Pop.
Yes, exactly. And, of course, this is no surprise to us, but we expect more salacious details to be released on, by the way, the gold standard, Sirius XM Howard's 100.
Radio's bad boy is back on the air. To me, the opposite of woke is being asleep. Uncensored, unfiltered, unpredictable.
You said I ate a whole bag of Doritos. Did you work out this morning?
Catch the bad boy of radio weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern, only on Sirius XM Howard 100, the gold standard.
I am so old. I no longer had ratings. I wasn't funny. What's going on? What really is going on?
Join the bad boy army.
I want to do that now.
No, you don't.
I do want to join the bad boy army.
I want to be a bad boy.
Me too.
Howard Stern did everything disgusting and despicable, yet he never held somebody up by their ankles. Unfortunately,
I remember that show, actually.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair, Gerald. There are two people who could not hold a woman up by their ankles, you and Howard Stern.
But he was planning to, but it was the Anna Nicole episode.
Yeah.
Made her get on a scale. And
Yes.
Never mind.
No.
It's a real thing that happened.
And this is not new. Like, people just think that Me Too is kind of over. No, it's... Me Too came out so that it could sort of pave the way for a culture. For a culture where now we live in an era where people are guilty until they can prove their innocence. You have Garth Brooks, can't stand him, but the guy was accused of the worst crimes that you can imagine. And then what we obviously see is vindicating evidence presented by the plaintiff makes page 6.
Well, by the way, we didn't mention this in the story, but Garth had a chance to make this go away. For millions of dollars, he says, for millions of dollars, I could have made this all go away. And he's like, no, screw that. I'm absolutely not going to say that I did something that I did not do. Now, again, like, I'm not vouching for every single thing that he did in this, but so far from what we've seen, there's nothing really here, and he chose to go public with this in a way that to defend himself instead of just being in the
And let me explain something to you. When I say hostile, having been behind the scenes with this, I can tell you, for example, Brian Callen was accused of rape. When he came on this show, and he said, no, it didn't happen this exactly like the timeline. There were a lot of high-profile criminals who didn't come in to at least even give him a platform to present himself. And the reason why is not because these people are rapists, but because they know that they're imperfect. And so what happens is people remain silent because they go, ooh, I don't want my misdeeds, my indiscretions to be made public. In other words, you may not be a rapist, but you may not want to come out and defend someone who you know is not a rapist because someone may have naked pictures. Someone may have you sexting someone who maybe you dated at some point and they were in love with you and you were in love with them. They may have a vendetta. You ever had to deal with an ex who was bitter? Well, just imagine that and add billions or millions of dollars in things. And so everyone remains quiet. For proof, see what's happening with Egan. No one else is coming out and saying, all right, okay, I was involved. Or no one else is coming out and saying, look, he didn't do this. They're saying nothing. Why? Because people are afraid of skeletons in their closet. And sometimes they aren't even skeletons. That's the problem. Skeletons are selective at this point. And so people remain quiet. And so our justice system gets perverted. And it's happened time and time again. I have spoken with people who actually believe some of this. You have people out there who still believe that Clarence Thomas is a rapist, or believe that Clarence Thomas sexually harassed somebody, or believe that Anita Hill was anything other than a lie. Right? Remember, Anita Hill accused Clarence Thomas sexual harassment, inappropriate remarks about her body. They said that he was like a porn addict who would go down to this porn shop that didn't exist when he lived in that area of Washington, D.C. There are all kinds of things that didn't happen. And it turned out the worst thing that Clarence Thomas did was make a joke about someone's hair on a Diet Coke can, implying that it resembled a pubic hair. Is that worth the public lynching that he went through? Who put the pube on the Diet Coke can? That's it. Remember Brett Kavanaugh? You still have people who believe that Brett Kavanaugh was a gang rapist.
Yeah.
Remember Christine Blasey Ford came out? Also Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi supported her. This man was accused of gang raping a woman. And then it turns out that Christine Blasey Ford, her story she gave her therapist didn't match up with the story that was reported, I believe, by the Washington Post at the time, and that didn't match up with the authorities who investigated. And turned out the party didn't happen at a time that she mentioned in a place that couldn't possibly exist. Oh, and we also have a journal that was accurate to the letter from Brett Kavanaugh as to where and when he was engaging in any activities, and it also corroborated his story as it related to the North Korean. But we still have people out there who believe that Brett Kavanaugh is a rapist because you see the hearing where they asked him if he drank beer on the weekend. And you saw the hearings of Clarence Thomas where they talked about sexual harassment. By the way, hey, I would even go further. Let's say Clarence Thomas says, nice rap. Is it inappropriate? Sure. Would it be worthy of being accused of a crime? No. And people are always going to the Rolodex. What have I done that is imperfect? Because that's what they're going to use. They go, well, maybe you didn't rape, but... And then present something that, exists in your private life. This happens all the time. I've seen it. For Trevor Bauer, you still have people out there who believe that Trevor Bauer actually choked a woman, beat her, giving her a black eye. But then we found out that she didn't have a black eye, and that she actually took a video of herself the morning after said rape, winking at the camera without a black eye, and text saying, I'm going to take this man for all his words, and I'm going to get that back. Well. Give other people. Some people who I can't even... Aziz Ansari, right? I don't know what's happened to him. He's not a rapist. He had a bad date. Matt Ariza, Chris Hardwick, Johnny Depp. If it wasn't more salacious to cover the Johnny Depp follow-up trial, that man went through 7 years, I believe, where people believe he was an abusive drunk. And it turns out that he had a woman who was systematically abusing him and shitting in his bed.
These are 3 men that are starved, too.
Yeah.
And left-leaning, all 3 of them, I believe.
Right.
Starved.
And you know what the penalty is?
And then just gone. Out of our life.
Yeah. Penalty? Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Christine Blasey Ford, you say that thing about Brett Kavanaugh, and it's like, because we've covered all of that, we know how stupid and ridiculous that is. I engaged with somebody yesterday on X about that. Yesterday! About Brett Kavanaugh? Out there about Brett Kavanaugh being a rapist after 9 FBI background checks, an extended investigation. It's like, just can't win. Once it's out there, you're that guy forever. He has a family. Right. He has people in his circle that now look at him like, we always minimize that. We're like, oh, he's still a Supreme Court. He has kids who go to school and say, your daddy's a rapist. Yeah.
And other kids aren't allowed to go to sleepovers at his house.
Right.
Yeah. Dad's like, well, I saw the news that your friend's dad's a rapist.
And the left...
I don't want him near the football games either.
Right. Yeah, and the leftist worldview, it has to implode because they've done, well, hold on a second, maybe it wasn't rape. But hold on a second, maybe it wasn't sexual harassment. But it technically is rape, actually, and I support all of my sisters because that man was in a position of authority, and even though she was sexting him and she was actually throwing herself at him, he is technically a rapist because he was her superior. But I'm also pro-sex work. Oh, and most pornography directors and producers are men. Was that not disparity of power? It can never be consistent. The only thing that is consistent about the left today is subverting systems that have created the Western civilization that you enjoy. Innocent until proven guilty, our justice system. They don't want that. The idea that family is important, that you will find happiness not in material things, but in life. Life, love, liberty, pursuit of happiness, families, children. No, we want you to be able to abort on demand. And we want you to be pro-pornography, pro-drug. Hey, you should probably live a life that's disciplined. You should probably live a life with routine, with structure. You should probably be someone who is virtuous, not because you want to go out there on social media and virtue signal, but because it's good for your own soul. You don't see the left advocating for these virtuous principles in the quiet time. In the quiet time, when no one's looking, it's porn, drugs, abortion, infidelity, orgies, as we see. And here's the crazy thing. The only place where you actually see this rape culture, the only place where you see this kind of degeneracy, is the place that is saying it's the rest of the country's fault. Let me ask you this. Do you think you're going to see orgies, rape, sex parties, and porn shoots in Oklahoma, in the suburbs of Oklahoma, or Texas, or Kansas, or Hollywood, D.C., and New York? And these are the people who want to shape the entire country in this graven image that they have erected. And this graven image just involves more sacrifice at the altar of self. Let's distill this down to where we are. When people say, you got to be careful as a man, you don't want to risk offending people. I'm done tiptoeing around, and I think we should be done tiptoeing around people who are sacrificing babies at the altar of self. I'm not talking about women who think that choice is an issue to vote on. I'm not talking about women who don't understand what abortion is. I'm not talking about those people who've been fooled, unfortunately, and it's our job to educate them. I'm talking about the party platform in the industries that say abortion up until 9 months, including birth period, and then enshrine it into law and fight it with all of their wealth, their ill-gotten gain, in Linda Gates' case, billions of dollars to ensure that that is the kind of country we have. Oh, and by the way, only you men out there are going to be forced into the draft to protect a country, but you have no say in the kind of country that it is you will exclusively be forced to protect. This doesn't end well, and that's what's at stake in this election, and that's why we're gearing up for the election live stream of the century, November 5th, 2024, being able to call states, the live electoral integrity map, where you can actually see what is going on in real time, so that this doesn't happen in darkness. Lie, cheat. Lie, cheat. That's what we see from the left. And by the way, it's exactly what you will see with the same road with pornography. You will see with drugs, right? Lie. Say, no, it's actually, if you look at Portugal, it's working out great. Legalizing drugs actually saves the government money. We generate tax revenue. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, actually. There's no addiction problem. There are actually no ill side effects. By the way, I think there are some medicinal uses, for example, cannabis, in very limited circumstances. I'm not anti-cannabis. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about telling people in a blanket statement that we should create a culture of drugs, of porn, and of silence out of fear from guilt that's being thrust upon you by the court of public opinion. That's the culture that one party has as their view of the ideal for this country. Let's be really clear about that. The culture is porn, drugs, abortion, sex work, and I stand with people who make accusations regardless of any evidence presented. And you know what that does? That destroys lives, destroys families, and frankly, it destroys people's sense of right and wrong, a moral compass. Let's take a microcosm of that. COVID. Lie, cheat. We've seen that. That's why COVID is so effective. We saw it in real time. We saw one group of people saying, hey, hold on a second. We don't believe that 2 million people are going to die in these next couple of months. And we don't believe that we should be shutting down the economy. We actually believe that that will have negative consequences, really, for an entire generation to come. You had one group of people, everyone in this room, saying, hold on a second, if you don't let kids go to school, and if you fearmonger, they have to wear masks and they can't interact with human beings, you are going to see a mental health crisis. You are going to see substance abuse. You're going to see businesses close. You're going to see this country struggle. And then you had one other party say, nope, all of this has to be done through mandate. And trust me, this is good for you. Until they realize, you know what? None of that was true. So lie, cheat. What's the cheat there? Remove anyone who points it out. Lie, cheat. Absolutely, no doubt, wet market. China's on the up and up. They're giving us the true story. If you say if you say lab leak theory, you will be removed. Then, okay, since we found out it's at least a 50-50 shot, let's just memory hole it. No, absolutely. mRNA has been tested extensively in humans. There are no anytime someone says there are no ill effects or side effects to anything on Earth, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. You can't even say that about pizza. I mean, there's everything on Earth has pros and cons. And you try and use your judgment to say, okay, does this have more pros than cons? Right? That's why we create pro and con lists. Anyone who tells you this is all pro, there are no cons, they're lying to you. And then when you have to deal with the actual consequences, they're just going to cheat and erase the whole board, pull an Etch-a-Sketch on that. And that's not what we do here, and that's why Garth Brooks, hey, can't stand the guy. I think your music sucks. I think your fake persona, Chris Gaines, was dumb. I think everything about it is disingenuous. But you know what, Mr. Brooks, I don't think you're a rapist, and largely because of the evidence that was presented by the rape victim. Let's continue Chat Thursday on Mug Club. But, oh, I have another rape story. Let's continue.
I remember the days of ticket overload, putting out fires, systems not working. But then we discovered Attila.
Dead internet theory. A lot of people believe that the internet, as it once existed, died once and for all, somewhere around 2016, 2017. And I noticed that just a couple of weeks after Elon Musk initiated his acquisition of Twitter, which is now X, Shane Cashman, our beloved colleague, tweeted, "I believe Twitter is a limb on the corpse of the dead internet. I believe Twitter wrote a code to throttle reality and engagement. I think Twitter mass-produced bots to give the illusion of reality and engagement. I think the code and the bots were nuked once Elon bought Twitter." I disagree with that last sentence, knowing now what Twitter looks like under Elon. It's if anything, the presence of bots and engagement farming has gotten even stronger since he took over, and that has something to do with trying to make the company profitable, which prior to Elon's acquisition, it wasn't. So, dead internet theory is an online conspiracy theory that asserts that due to a coordinated and intentional effort, the internet now consists mainly of bot activity and automatically generated content manipulated by algorithmic curation to control the population and minimize organic human activity.
So hold on to that first part, what you just said, because we were talking about this during pre-production. I think this is kind of, yes, there's bots running rampant and robots that are appearing to be real people on the internet, but I think what dead internet theory really means is people are now acting like robots. The first part of that statement said bot activity. We call people NPCs all the time. People act like
that's a really good point.
People act like bots.
I think the bots are getting better at pretending to be human, and humans are getting better at pretending to be bots.
We're meeting in the middle.
At a certain point, people can be so stupid that they are indistinguishable from bots, which applies to most flat earthers. Like
it all circles back.
Flat
to
Earth.
the flat
Okay, that's the thing
earthers.
that seems like Scientology. I think it might just be a giant inside joke.
No, so like. Some of it, yes. Some of it is people who are legitimately just really stupid, like Austin Whitsitt.
From the comments that we got, some people are very sincere.
Why flat though? Why not a triangle?
Because
why not a 5D shape?
It started off as a biblical thing. People thought the Bible said that the Earth was flat because they don't know how to read.
The firmament.
And then how thick?
Right.
How thick is this flat Earth?
They have no answers for any of these questions, and their response is always, "Well, I don't need to explain it because I don't know. I just know the Earth's not round."
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, here's all of the math that proves that it's round, and they're like, "Yeah, well, what about?" And then they throw like 8 different science-y tech-sounding words at the wall and can't explain what they mean, and then they, shit their pants and run away.
I think one reason why dead internet theory started getting a lot more attention in the mainstream is the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial.
Yeah.
Because the media was insisting to everyone that all of the pro Johnny Depp takes you were seeing on your timeline on X was propaganda being spread by bot farms. And in fact,
the pro Johnny Depp stuff.
Yeah, in fact, Amber Heard was actually the one who was being artificially suppressed, and her supporters were being artificially suppressed by bot activity.
Go back on what we were talking about yesterday with Phil about it sucks being a man sometimes because men can have an opinion, but it gets you're like, no man thinks that. That must be a bot.
Right.
I did know some people who legitimately supported Amber Heard,
which is very few though. When I was in Hollywood and that was happening, and there were not a lot of people that were they were looking at being like, wow, look at did you see the crazy the crazy bullshit she pulled yesterday? Did you see the crazy thing she did then? And the whole it just was never on her side.
It seemed like it was just a mutually abusive relationship, and
organic word of mouth definitely.
It was a little worse
from
her side, definitely.
A little more worse.
I saw a tweet. It was like, Elon Musk must have some serious riz because he got peak Amber Heard to dress up in like an anime or video game cosplay or anime or video game. I'm not sure.
He started acquiring Twitter in April 2022 at the exact same time that the defamation trial was going on. And what
maybe
his intention
slight
was to get his last dig in at Amber Heard, his ex-girlfriend, by supporting her ex-husband. I don't know.
Who's the other one that he dated?
Ministerial offices.
Amber Heard, Grimes.
Johnny Depp, or you mean Elon?
Elon.
Okay, yeah, Grimes. Pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
Proponents of dead internet theory believe that social bots were created intentionally to help manipulate algorithms and boost search results in order to manipulate consumers. Some proponents of dead internet theory accuse government agencies of using bots to manipulate public perception. The date given for the death of the internet is generally around 2016 or 2017.
Humans are able to tell though. Like there was a post that I think you shared in our group chat yesterday, and it was like those OnlyFans bot posts. And it like replied to an account talking about like a terror attack somewhere in the Middle East.
Well, it talked about it was about the Mexico mayor. That,
it was a cartel. It was a cartel
and the direct reply to that where people like these OF girls, literally actual people posting their OF.
Are they real people or are they bots?
Yeah,
I think they're bots.
This is a real strategy.
Yeah,
I know some people who do OnlyFans. I know some people who manage OnlyFans accounts.
Yeah,
it is a real strategy to go and just throw it at anything that's viral, even if that thing is like a natural disaster.
So it's a human acting like a bot.
Yeah, because they don't care about like 95%. There's definitely some bots, don't get me wrong. Like,
yeah, definitely are.
You know,
but not everything is bot.
It's not the bot making a mistake. That's the point. It's the bot doing precisely what it was intended to do, because they're only caring about the people who are so utterly desperate that they will pay for that.
Yeah.
How much do you guys personally buy into this theory, though, that the majority of users on an account like Twitter are bots?
Majority no,
not majority.
A significant percentage yes. I worked in marketing for a while.
Of like what dead internet theory is, like I explained earlier. What I think it's more so like us becoming dumber as a species and AI becoming smarter as a technology, and what they're describing the phenomenon that we're witnessing.
That's what they're talking about. Maybe you can say that. Yeah, definitely. And people's attention spans are going shorter by the minute. That's definitely true. Like the 15-second news cycle, not 15-minute news cycle anymore. It's like it's always increased my whole life.
So like TikTok.
But the internet theory is true, though. I don't use sites anymore. We're all on platforms. People forget that we're on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, etc. Those are platforms. It's not like MySpace.com where you used to go to use a web browser to get to MySpace. Now you're actually just on their ecosystem the whole time. Everything you interact with goes through their filter every single time, and that's what dead internet theory to me originally would refer to. Is like the internet itself is dead because people don't go to actual .com websites, registries on HTTP like a HTTP link. They don't do that. They have no protocols, and that's all just on one site or one thing. And that's like that came in like 2015, 2016, 2017. Yeah.
I mean, that timeline makes sense to me because
that's what I referred to.
Trump got elected, I think like after Trump got elected, there was a push from big tech to really bring down the ban hammer and surveil and censor people far more strongly than they did prior to 2016.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. You're putting them on a plantation. You're putting them on a spot. You're putting them on a thing you can observe and monitor and regulate. Whereas in the internet and the .com, there's just anything. You can go to any .com website and like maybe like a server could take someone's website down. But if you had a website on its own server that represented itself and you had the actual location, you can go there.
Remember 2012 when the Mayan calendar was just predicted the end of the world?
That was these things.
Exactly. It's not the social media platforms or itself. It's not any one political event that happened. It's when smartphones became ubiquitous that even homeless people can have a smartphone in their pocket connected to these apps, these social media websites, the internet.
Yeah.
When that became the norm, when the average Joe walked in, you'd be surprised to find someone without a smartphone walking down any street in this country.
You really can't even function without one. It's built into so many.
It's shocking. If someone shows up to like an after-work function, I'm like, hey, do you have your phone on you? You're like, no, I left it at home. I'd be like, what?
I do that.
I'd be like, what? What do you mean?
I'm gonna come to your house and just freak you out and not
very
have a phone.
healthy.
Not have a phone, yeah.
But this has
can't
been
track me, bro.
Allegedly, dead internet has been developing for far longer than we realize. And I am not one to just heap praise on the Young Turks, but back in 2011, the Young Turks published a video called Software Writes News Articles. Now, in 2024, when you hear software writes news articles, we're like, Yeah,
sure.
what about it?
Oh,
But
that was being going.
back in
BuzzFeed was doing that.
2011, you would hear that and be shocked that
Yeah,
a
true.
robot would be capable of writing convincingly human-written articles. And in this example they gave, it was sports articles. They said a startup known as Narrative Science designed a program that writes human-like stories. Right now it's used for sports articles, but will it eventually be used to write news and politics? Cenk and Anna Kasparian discuss on the Young Turks. So that was back in 2011,
Yeah.
where that was a very shocking revelation to people. Now it's extremely commonplace, and we might as well assume it's written by a
Well, we
bot
make-
before we find out otherwise.
We make jokes when boomers get fooled by AI photos. We're like, obviously it's AI.
But eventually we will be fooled. And there was just recently, I
hurricane.
think earlier this year,
This week there was a big one with a fake photo from a little girl holding a puppy.
oh, yeah.
Fooled millennials.
Right, yeah, it's getting better. But I mean, earlier this year, there was this big scandal with Sports Illustrated because people found out that Sports Illustrated was publishing articles written by fake authors who were fully AI generated people.
Sports media has gone through quite the shakeup over the last year or two. Like,
Hey, same with every media.
Like
Same with
established,
everything.
yeah, that's true. Media in general, but like, and I think this is partially a glimpse of what's to come with AI. It's because certain just updating, like, hey, here's what's on our plate today. Like messages like that used to be a person that wrote that.
We got a 20 from VWit. I'd start walking your way, you'd start walking mine, we'd meet in the middle, meet that old Georgia pine. Extra 20 chat if you can actually sing that, Mary. I can't. But I wanted to get more into narrative science, this startup that they were referencing,
Love
because
that name.
narrative science was invested in by the Central Intelligence Agency. Like, literally the CIA was one of the major investors in narrative science when it was founded in 2010. And this startup also had InQtel, something called InQtel as an investor, which is a non-profit venture capital firm based in Arlington, Virginia. It invests in high-tech companies to keep the Central Intelligence Agency and other intelligence agencies equipped with the latest information technology in support of U.S. intelligence capabilities.
That makes perfect sense.
So InQtel is another CIA.
Yeah, it's one of these companies. Like, it's like I have friends in the Arlington area. And it's like, you ask where they work. Oh, I work for we do satellites and stuff. It's like, I know who you work for. I get what you're saying.
This startup that the Young Turks were talking about back in 2011 was essentially a software owned by the CIA
Imagine what they're doing
in
now.
order to create narratives and write news articles. They started out small, and imagine where it is 15 years later as we're standing now.
They started these things with sports because of the stats too. There's so many sports statistics that are so easily accessible.
And you don't need an opinion. It's just fact.
But also,
you can write you can literally just write a thing in, which will put in input the stats, scrubbing it from an Excel sheet, no problem. That's probably what they're doing, and then it's just a rudimentary text-to-speech thing. I can see that happening.
But
in
beyond
2011.
that,
They picked something where they could tweak the actual verbiage used
Right.
first before they had to get it to be accurate.
But they were reading through some of the articles in that video back in 2011, and it was stylized. It was in a very particular voice.
Yeah, so a lot of what they would do at the time too was they would still have an editor who would go through it, and the editor would like review it to make sure it flowed properly. But it did not take long for things to go from, this has to be edited by a human being to this is nearly indistinguishable from an average person's writing.
That's where we're at now with ChatGPT.
I think we're with music as well. Like music is like that right now too. Like the AI stuff's like, it makes kind of okay stuff, but on a technical aspect for people that you or the average person's gonna like it, you gotta take it and chop it and configure it correctly, and then it's like, okay, this is good now. Now you can actually release it.
In 2011, that's when the
Pioneers
private sector
over here,
got usable AI tools.
Yeah.
2022, that's when the general public, the normies, got usable AI tools. It's been around. I guarantee the CIA's been using it this whole time.
Oh, yeah. I can say I did know some people back, this was not that long ago, probably 2018, who they were college students. They had a part-time job writing like gaming articles and listicles and things like that. They would not play the game. They would just go read a review of the game from IGN and then reword things for SEO content and go from there. Like, So
sounds like journalism.
When you look at like what was being done, AI was not the cheaper or more effective way to do it just 6 years ago.
Yeah,
and in just 6 years, we've gotten to the point where
Virginia, why it makes completely sense is Virginia's kind of considered the server capital of the country, if not the world. And so and what do you need to train AI models is a ton of server space.
Yep.
Right. There's like a ton of electricity, and so it makes sense that they headquarters or they park it in Virginia because it's all of Nova. It's just data farm after data farm after data farm. But to put like more of a less doom pill on this, I like to think that hey, the CIA, they went to Trump and Kamala. They're like, okay, here's the plan for the 2024 election. Trump, you don't get any written speeches. You're off the cuff the whole time. Just make it up as you go. Kamala, you're only getting AI speeches. And we're just gonna see what happens. We're just gonna see what happens. We're gonna see how it all plays out. And it's another side.
Kamala might as well be an AI.
Someone should analyze her speech and see if the AI, they've seen AIs that will use more words than everyone. They should analyze her speech and see if she's been using words that an AI would use a lot more often. They can prove that she's just been saying.
No, but professors are using these tools, and they're using AI tools to detect AI written essays. Yeah. And you see stories now pop up. It's I spent 3 weeks straight writing this paper. It is 99.9% me, and I get flagged as 80% AI.
The detections are completely ineffective.
No.
And that's why students are going to continue getting away with stealthily cheating.
Well, now the one kid that worked his ass off that just got a failing grade because they accused of it being AI, you think he's ever going to work that hard again on that paper?
No, definitely.
No.
I would.
Exactly, yeah.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.
Or comedians. I would love to help Matan with.
But that just sounds like you're doing amazing on your own.
It's a joke. Okay, I've got Matan, and I love that name, Matan. I love it a lot. Let me show you this. This was what we showed you months and months and months ago. And we didn't. This was before we knew Matan was who he is today. We loved this. Here's Hassan.
What's going on?
And here comes Matan. Yes, that was it. We love landlords. This is perfect. This is exactly what you want to do. And here is Hassan. And he comes right with a sign, "We love landlords." What's good about him is he knows his targets, and he knows what will affect them, and he knows how to do the almost silliest thing. It should be, if you come by Hassan with a sign, "I love landlords," Hassan should laugh at that because it's so absurd. Nobody's actually doing this. You know it's a joke, so why aren't you laughing at the absurd joke that this guy made a sign to do? Even you, Hassan, should be laughing, but no, this is what Hassan does.
What's going on? How you guys doing? We love landlords. We're all against unions. We're here to protest against the landlords and the unions. We love them. Can we do
Look
a
at him.
quick
He's
check on
getting
him?
mad.
We love landlords. Look.
He's getting mad. How do you not find that funny? And then here comes Mike. Mike, we love landlords. And nothing, no. Hassan's eyes are filling with tears, actually. Shouldn't you be relieved knowing it's a comedy bit and not a real guy with a sign? Shouldn't that give you so much relief? And then you should be able to laugh at it, because it's almost as if the guy with the sign is mocking this idea because it's so absurd. But you don't get that. And many people don't get this type of humor for some reason. They seem to become, maybe they think they're being personally attacked with this or trolled. and they don't like that somebody even had the idea to troll
their
them.
brain immediately goes to I'm being trolled, so they like ultra overthink every reaction they have.
Instead of just going, you could diffuse this in a second if you burst out laughing, which you should because it's very funny. And then Matan wouldn't want to troll you anymore because he'd go, this dude's cool. He gets it. But no, you give us exactly more than we could have ever dreamed would happen is what you do. Watch this.
We love landlords. We love landlords. We love them a lot. We're all against unions. They're not fair to the corporate companies. This is a...
Was that the whole? Yeah. But there's more to that, and it's very, very, very funny. So here's Matan. Cut to months and months and months later. Here's Matan in his studio interviewing David Lucas. Now, where did he get the idea to interview David Lucas? Did he know? Did he smell David Lucas the way we've been smelling him? Did he smell that skin? And did he know that this is going to be a good one? Well, let's find out. Let's just see what he did. A little bit.
Doing?
I mean, 2
nice
seconds.
to meet you. Unfortunately, Mike wasn't able to make it today, so for the co-host, we have a business casual terrorist welcoming. Nice to meet him.
Whatever.
So automatically, he's not playing along. He's being weird and stupid.
All right, boy.
Hey, I'm fat and ugly.
So real quick, just please introduce yourself, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and all that one.
I'm David Lucas, comedian, roaster, YouTuber. I'm on Kill Tony. Been roasting for quite a while. You know what I'm saying?
So what is that?
It's a little stress ball, bro. I just like it. I like...
Oh, that's not allowed.
Yeah, it is.
No, you have to put it in your pocket.
So we already joke number 1. That was 2. He's already getting worried. Because the guy said stress balls aren't allowed. Yeah, it is. Fuck, this is going to be tough. What are you talking about? Then get rid of the stress ball is what you should have done.
The contrast, so they can see everything's white and black, and that's like purple.
Bro, you got dirty bedroom sheets and you talking about a card.
No, it's really high.
She's falling for joke 1.
It's really nice and stuff.
Oh boy, you're funny. What's good?
But he's not so sure, is he?
You're less.
Okay, so cut. Long story short, David Lucas flips out. He does a bunch of embarrassing.
4 minutes in.
Because everyone's covered this, so I want you to go watch their work, not mine. But yeah, here. Remind me what this is. Or I'll know.
The 10.
Yeah. Oh, this is the best part. Listen to this.
Is that not real?
No, you see me right here.
That looks just like me.
I'm big, but I ain't that big.
That's just like you. His manager's over there, but look, that's him, right? Performing.
So they're showing. Look at what they've done. They've made AI photos of him being like monstrous Lucasos, and they're showing that. Hey, there's a picture of you, right? Nah, that ain't me. And then he's getting like sad. Why wouldn't? How could this not be? If somebody did a picture like that to me and goes, "Is this you?" How could you not laugh at that?
What the hell?
How could you be mad? So David Lucas, put that shit away. You won't grab it from you. He does stuff like that. What?
Tony?
No, that's not me.
That's him?
That's not a real picture.
He doesn't know what
Look, he's this dumb.
Your manager don't know what he got some nice eyes.
So his manager is one of these dirty pimps. You should see this manager. So David Lucas found a manager from the hood. Sorry, Matt Walsh. I'm so inspired by Matt Walsh lately. He's got a hood manager. Have you ever seen somebody, like, even, it's so funny, like, sometimes, like, a big star will show up, and even their manager is like a hood, crooked manager. You know, it's like a manager from, like, a movie about Motown. They've got, like, a diamond tooth and a cane and crazy sunglasses and a top hat, and they're like, I'm David Lucas's manager. And it's like, oh, you're a crooked hood manager. David Lucas has one of those where you can see it. This guy's probably sitting at home all day trying to get money out of any possible nook and cranny that David Lucas, he's sitting around calling Aiden Ross. Yo, Aiden. Yo, it's good David Lucas. What we got? What we got? What we got? Okay. He's one of those guys. So He's running around town with this guy. I don't know if they ever show him, but he's one of these, crooked. I don't know how else to describe it. Lucas is going around town, and wait till you see what Lucas falls for and why he's on this show with Matan.
Yes, your manager don't know the words. He got some nice eyes, though.
Which one are you talking about? I
Right
was
here.
one guy.
He got nice eyes,
has
too.
fallen.
Who?
Our victory grows ever nearer.
Look at his eyes. He ain't gonna bite me.
Who are you talking
Hey, as long as you got that money ready for me at the end of this hour, I don't give a fuck.
As long as you got that money ready for me at the end of this hour, this is the part that grabbed everyone's hearts here. I jumped out of my chair when I heard him say this. I go, listen to this. David Lucas assumes he's being paid big bucks for the interview. Listen to this.
Hey, as long as you got that money ready for me at the end of this hour, I don't give a fuck.
Well, I don't got anything.
And then he looks at you. See this look? He goes, I don't got anything. And look at how David looked at Lucas. Looks at his manager when Matan says there's no payment for today. Watch it.
At the end of this hour, I don't give a fuck.
Well, I don't got anything.
He looks right at his manager, who's sitting right where you're sitting at home. And he goes,
Our men are breaking off.
watch this.
Money ready for me at the end of this hour, I don't give a fuck.
Well, I don't got anything.
And then the manager, the hood manager goes, you said 10 grand, man. And he says man like a fucking old school hood manager. Like ain't nobody new hood managers in country. Man, you told us 10 grand, man. This isn't hustle and flow.
Our men
Okay.
flee the field of battle.
That's like a dated hood manager. So now imagine him, he's an older man, probably in his 50s. He dresses like shit. His name is Daryl. Probably. So, listen to his manager there in the background. Man, you said 10 G's. So, of course, yes. You guys thought you were getting 10 G's to be Matan! Hear that? So,
And he mentioned it within the first 5 minutes, so he was probably like, they were on their way there celebrating the 10K. They probably already spent it.
and here's the thing. I always say, a prank, a good prank, gives you an out. Okay? A prank without an out is just a lie. For example, if you say you're going to give somebody 10 grand to do your podcast, they better know you're kidding. If they don't know you're kidding, well, shame on them, and we must show everyone. So, yes, that is considered a prank. If he would have said, I'll give you $2,000 and then didn't do it, that would have been a lie. Because that is believable. $10,000 to be on this show, to be interviewed for 30 minutes. The fact that you thought that was real, he goes, okay, well, I'm not going to say anything different. You think that's real? That's on you. So watch this go down again. Look at these two.
I don't got anything. 10 grand? I could have got.
Hey, man, I thought you said 10 grand, man. Are you like an actor trying to play a hood manager? What the fuck? Man, oh man, daddy, oh, I thought you said 10 grand, man.
Our men have given up and are running for their
Even
lives.
Matan is like smirking because he can't believe that
Matan
they
can't
got
believe
that.
He can't. Where'd you thought that, man?
But wait, look at him when he put it.
Of course. I want to hear that manager, so I'm going to crank this.
At the end of this hour, I don't give a fuck.
Oh, I don't got anything. 10 grand?
Man, I thought you said 10 grand, man. What a fucking idiot. And guess what? How about everyone make fun of the manager? Let's find him. He needs to be made fun of too. All right, let's see how this continues. David Lucas looks pretty upset. What? You thought you were getting 10 grand and you just showed up in these shorts and this hoodie and just sat there like plop for 10 grand? You weren't gonna even do a nice job?
And
Wow.
when you walked in and saw the sheet, you were like, okay, the 10 grand joke.
I mean, the fact that you fell for the 10 grand, that's as stupid as they get on the internet. It's as dumb as they get, and this all falls back on the back of Tony Hinchcliffe. Tony! Everyone around you is a retard except Red Band and me. Okay, watch this.
And I could have got Charleston White for 10 grand.
Ready for me at the end of this hour. I don't give a fuck.
I don't got any time. 10 grand? I could have got Charleston White for 10 grand.
Oh, I wish I could do it. It would take me an hour to figure out what he said there, but I will work on it. Because that manager now is almost more exciting than Lucas himself. Something about DM. Oh, brother, let me check them DM. You told me 10 grand. You fool. What do you think this is, Bobby Outlaw? She ain't even paying that much money. You thought, well, bet it must be one of these big new YouTubers. We's don't know. Sorry, guys. This is not, I'm not trying to do anything because of your color.
San Diego.
Is that where'd you come from to do the show?
Here?
You're staying here.
Yeah, I got a place here.
In Hollywood?
West Hollywood.
Just like you have an apartment or you have a hotel? So you live in this? Okay. So what about the money? What about the money? I would give it to you if I had to.
Nah, Nick. I'm about to call it, you say? So you start calling people the N-word, which is crazy. That could get you canceled. That could get you canceled. And then you say, we cutting this? Who's we? Daryl? Watch this.
About the money?
Yeah.
I would give it to you if I had some.
Nah, nigga, I'm about to call.
We could
Call
do
it.
We could do like a perpetual team.
All right.
The camera's not. There's no camera on it.
I don't give a fuck. We don't need it to be on camera. I need my bread.
I need bread.
What the fuck?
I don't care if I'm on camera. I need me bread. Your bread? You deserve bread for this. You don't even deserve regular bread for this. Not even a roll. That's insane. Let's see what he does next.
How much are you expecting to do? You told me 10,000 in the text message, bro.
I will have to see it. Maybe that was from how he told me that. Because he's the one, in case anybody doesn't know.
And then the manager pulls out and goes, you got 10 minutes to get the 10 grand. That's what I think I heard. And he was holding a small gun near his chest, like this. You got about 10 minutes to give me that 10 grand. He holds his gun like an old timer. He ain't new, he ain't current, he's old time. This is an old, not modern hip-hop producer. A hustler. He doesn't exist in this day and age. This might have worked back in the day. This doesn't work no more.
Okay, let's move on. This is getting real stale here. Let's give somebody some reference. A lot of people know you because you got canceled a couple of months ago.
So he doesn't know what to do because Matana's just moving on. And he's too stupid to stay on track, so he just falls for the interview now, I guess. Right?
For making a joke about George Floyd.
He's still thinking about it.
Really get canceled?
See, you really got
him.
him. That was smart.
I mean, people were...
The only way to get him off the 10 grand was to say this thing about his cancellation with George Floyd. And then that spooked him to get defensive, and now he totally forgot about the 10 grand. Now he has to prove himself on the show. So, yeah, that was beautifully done. Check out the coverage of this from Elephant Graveyard. Does a good job. Or watch it yourself. 39
it's not that long.
minutes.
It's worth it. Every second of it is so funny.
Every second is good. So David Lucas has been in the news. People are talking about him everywhere. I wanted to show you this. Here's a Red Bar rumor. David Lucas that came to me in the last month. David Lucas has been banned from the Comedy Store for stealing drinks. Oh, this is from Elephant Graveyard. Himself.
Oh, shit.
Look at this. I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. It's too late now.
Oh my God, it was a private message.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike, just got a tip that David Lucas was banned from the Comedy Store for stealing drinks, going behind the bar, and taking whatever he wants. Heard it from a regular there. And he just canceled his Canadian dates this week. Don't know what's going on. Might be interesting. Thank you.
Sorry for exposing
AG.
you.
It's okay. That's a good expose. It's only going to gain him more popularity, that expose. That's a good one. Okay, that's one of my rumors. And we got to go back in time, too. You know, on the next show, I'll gather all these ones that I've just been skipping over. Because now it sounds like we got to do something about Lucas. Lucas Schneider. I like to call him. Let's see this one. He's huge. They're both huge. What's that?
Oh, that was just telling everyone to watch.
Oh, okay, yes, of course. Then you had the David Lucas from the time. And then, of course, this started coming out. So now everyone saw Matan basically exposes Lucas, you know, as the creep he is. That 10 grand thing killed everyone. That killed Tony fans. And so now everyone's going back and digging stuff up. This one was on, I can't believe, the Kill Tony Reddit? Is that what this is from? And it's still up? I can't believe the Kill Tony Reddit would let this live.
Oh yeah, they all hate David Lucas over there.
Oh, really?
They hate
even
everybody.
the mod.
The only thing that's banned from there is Red Bar for some reason.
So I assumed if Red Bar was banned, then all kinds of hate was banned. That's not the case?
They love Kill Tony the show, but they like hate Hans Kim, they hate David Lucas,
And they hate Red Bar. And they ban anything Red Bar. If you write Red Bar, you'll get banned on the Kill Tony Reddit. We don't know why. I don't know why those guys wouldn't be friends with us when I am immediate friends with Red Ban from Kill Tony. I mean,
it's crazy.
You guys, that's insane. And you could be friends with me and you could actually hang out with me and talk to me all the time. That would be like you knowing someone from Kill Tony. But you shake your head at me? For what? Why would... In the Fighter and the Kid Reddit, it's like, do you guys not know comedy? Like, that's just insane to me. That doesn't add up. So I almost feel like one of the guys, like Tony, is going, I want him off that Reddit, and here's the money to do so. I feel like the Fighter and the Kid. Somebody's paying these guys to keep me off there. Somebody.
Someone in the chat says, David Lucas at the bar, like, man, I'm David Lucas.
That's a Red Bar rumor. That was a perfect...
Yeah,
that was
funny.
almost a sound clip. That's a Red Bar... What? Wait, what happened? Was that me? That's a Red Bar rumor. That's a Red Bar rumor. That's a Red Bar rumor. Do we have that sound clip? That's a Red Bar rumor?
We should.
Do we have that video? Yeah, that's a Red Bar rumor. It's not a rumor anymore. Well, some of the stuff could be rumor. Not this, apparently. This is from your own mouth. You started this rumor. They posted on the Kill Tony Reddit 8 days ago. It's got only 514 upvotes. Pretty crazy.
Really? I thought it would be way bigger.
Yeah.
Now. Have people been making videos about this? Like, you know?
I don't know. That's why... well, I don't know. We're doing it. We're making a video right now. Here it is. David Lucas opens up about his last relationship. Wow, that's what it's called. David Lucas opens up about his last relationship, gets emotional. That's a weird title for this. Because I thought this was about domestic abuse that he admits to. Let's check it out. Let's unmute. Here he is. David Lucas and William H., who is a friend of the show. You're going to see coming up in a bit. William has reached out to me. So, you know, we're almost done taking this Tony down. Here we go.
But some of these niggas is out here gorilla pimping, bro. They beating the shit out of
So
me.
y'all already saying the N-word again.
Gorilla pimp.
You what?
I strangle a bitch.
I'll strangle? Okay, so he says, I'll strangle a bitch. And everyone goes, ha ha ha, no he won't.
This offer is a good and honest
Just a joke.
And
But
you
then
should
he
give
tells
it
this
I've been
long
charged
story
to
about the time he strangled a woman.
Name, I ask, and so we have
Here
they
it
are
is.
proud
And
people,
again, I don't have
and we'd
anything
be
against
proud
this.
to count you among our friends.
That's not why we're showing it. This isn't to protect women. This is just some people, a lot of people, hate
Very well.
strangulation stuff. There it is.
To the point, to the brink of death, to the brink of death. That bitch will see the light, then I bring her back.
Yeah.
I'm like,
get your ass up, bitch.
Yeah, bro, did I ever tell you the story about the...
That ass up, bitch.
I hope she don't... I hope... What's the statute of limitations with...
With what?
With what?
With violence.
With violence.
Violence?
The only time... There's... I was young,
That's
bro.
Broad thing.
I
was
young, bro, and I know she don't watch this, but if she do, goddamn it, she gon'.
What happened when you were young?
I was like 21, 22, fresh to LA, bro. I was dating this one girl. We had a studio apartment together.
Yeah.
We argued a lot, and
what happened?
This one time, I used to be a crazy boyfriend, bro. I used to be like one of them little jealous niggas. And she
the
was taking
weekend.
a shower when she was about to go somewhere. And I was like, yeah, you about to go out and be a hoe, this, that, and the other. I was like, I might as well just stop fucking with your ass. And then she said something like, I was like, yeah, I was talking shit like, yeah, you gonna miss this dick? And she was like, I can always suck another. Something like, it set me off, but I grabbed that bitch from behind her neck.
You make, first of all, hold on. You said something terrible there. You make women suck your dick? Sorry, that's a rape. Really? What woman wants to get down there and do that to you? With this enormity in the way you behave and the way you talk. Really, think about what you're doing to somebody. Can't you look in the mirror and go, my personality, looks, and size have no right to involve a female with. That would just be rude. And then not do that? No, you need to get that dick sucked, right? Right? And it better be good for you, David Lucas, who deserves it all, right?
Ready for battle.
So what does he do when he wants his dick sucked? He asks and he makes them do it. Well, he asks them, they do it. That's still a rape to me. Okay, you get it? You're traumatizing someone, right? Same amount of trauma as the rape does because it's so
Ready for orders.
horrifying. And the work you have to do and the angle you got to get at, and God imagining what they've seen. You know, we haven't really even seen what this looks like. When's the last time you saw a porno shot from below of a giant fat guy this size getting his dick sucked? We really don't see that. You don't see it in cinema. You don't see it in your mind's eye. You don't see it in dreams. And you haven't seen a video of it.
Searching for big fat guy
Well, I know
porn
it's out
so
there.
that you can study and kind of see how it works with these guys.
But we don't see
Get
that.
some more
And
info.
if you saw a POV from the girl who's sucking his dick, and this is a happy relationship, this is a consensual situation. If you saw the POV from that wouldn't that traumatize you? Wouldn't it traumatize you just to see that view? And she's there in real life, 2 inches away from the giant hippopotamus stomach. And God knows what else. And the smells, and the fluids, and the pubes. Imagine his pubis. It's enough you would hurl. And any girl out there, believe me, they're not thanking their lucky stars that they're able to do this. It must be transactional, but at the end of the day, just like a rape, you're causing trauma. And it should be enough to get you written up by people like me online. It's at the very least a write-up, and that's what we're doing here. Consider this your formal write-up from Red Bar.
Yeah, I was talking shit like, yeah, you gonna miss this dick? And she was like, I can always suck another. Or something like, it set me off, but I grabbed that bitch from behind her neck, bro. That bitch, I choked her, dog, and she passed out.
That bitch, I choked her dog, and she passed out. Less offensive to me than the consensual blowjob I was talking about.
Why would you say this?
But yes, we gotta hear. I choked her out. Listen to this.
He thought everyone else was gonna be like, yeah, I choke bitches out all the time too, man, slap it up. Otherwise, why would you ever say something
Because he's
like
a complete moron, and I almost feel bad, you know, covering him is like covering donkey lips, Michael Ray Bauer. This is a real retard. This is an actual retard, so he don't know no better. That's the only explanation. He's too stupid. But he's still a menace to society.
Somebody has to ask Tony about this, I think.
Tony, you know, what do they see this about? A blind eye? Tony looks the other way. Tony's as bad as the media. Looking the other way about this, that, all the stolen jokes. Tony's heard it all. You know what he says? Don't read that fucking Reddit page. I'm trying to get it shut down. So, yeah, Tony allows all this. He probably knows about Ari Mehta. And Tony, okay, you don't trust me to present it all to you? Am I lying about all this stuff that I'm showing your guys doing? You know, so you're either turning a blind eye or you know, are you a part of it? I don't know. But this should be enough for you to get written up. Yeah. Okay, let's hear this. Listen to this.
I was like, yeah, I was talking shit like, yeah, you gonna miss this dick? And she was like, I can always suck another. Or something like, it set me off, but I grabbed that bitch from behind her neck, bro. That bitch, I choked her, dog, and she passed out. She passed out of my arm.
You like that, William?
Like 5 or 6 seconds.
William is guilty of laughter.
Guess I forgot to laugh. You're living in a fucking fool's paradise.
Don't talk so much about what you do.
Yeah, this is gonna work. David Lucas just said that he choked that bitch because of over a blowjob.
Don't talk so much about what you do.
And those are, see, I knew those were words to live by. That'll come in handy for almost everything we ever do.
Oh my God. I was so scared. I thought
Was that in the shower?
She was drying off.
Drying off?
Yeah, bro. She collapsed. That was scary. As
She collapsed in my hair. Finally, William does his office moment. Finally, William is Yo,
so
she collapsed in my arms. Metal arms.
At your
And then William's like, oh. That's far.
The
That's
Diddy video is like a game of Mario where he's running down the hallway to beat up Cassie, and then there's like a Donkey Kong version.
Yes.
Like, kush, kush,
Here comes
kush,
David
and
Lucas.
choking her.
50 Cent.
That tape probably exists.
Should add David Lucas to the documentary. I love that 50 Cent, by the way, is doing the documentary on P. Diddy for Netflix. They've partnered. That is just, what a life. Okay, let's hear this. And William, I guess that look alone saves William from this. I would say that look alone shows that this is something William wouldn't do and is disgusted by. But you've held hands with him day in and day out ever since hearing the story. You should have told the police. Ran. But no, you...
I mean, really, not a joke at all. Imagine if you were talking to your friend and they said that they choked their girlfriend until they passed out. I mean, that would be
You would at least have to put your fingers in yours and go, no, I can't hear this.
So
That's
shocking.
insane.
I mean, nobody has ever shared a secret like that with me as long as I've lived. What about you? Like, that's a crazy thing to say when you think about it, really.
Yeah, like that would be very scary to hear someone do. You'd go, oh my God, this is you can't be friends with this person anymore. This is a guy gone too far. Oh, this video is no longer available. No. No way. That has to be a glitch. Phew. It must have been a glitch. Yeah. All right, here we are. Listen to this. Where are these guys? You've muted me now? I thought they were really, moving fast. Here we go.
I used to be a crazy boyfriend, bro. I used to be like one of them little jealous niggas. And she was taking a shower when she was about to go somewhere.
So she's naked during this strangulation, by the way. The towel is going to fall off. And a naked black woman collapsed in your arms? I mean, that is really straight out of a movie. Straight out of a movie. Let's finish up the rest of this story and get these notifications.
Isn't he so scared that this video is out there?
That's what I mean. He's too stupid. He doesn't get it.
I thought that by the time that we did the show, this video would be huge and the only thing that everyone was talking about. I can't believe nobody's made a video about this yet.
Well, people don't care about women, like me and Jen Kirkman do.
That's fucked up.
There we go.
I was like, yeah, you about to go out and be a hoe. I was like, I might as well just stop fucking with your ass. And then she said something like, I was like, yeah, I was talking shit like, yeah, you gonna miss this dick? And she was like, I can always suck another. Or something like, it set me off, but I grabbed that bitch from behind her neck, bro. And that bitch, I choked her, dog, and she passed out. She passed out of my arm in literally like 5 or 6 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
I was so scared. I thought
Was that in the shower?
She was drying off.
Drying off?
Yeah, bro. She collapsed him out. That was scary as a bitch, bro.
I respectfully
What'd you
request
do?
that we cooperate.
As soon as she hit the ground, she
William's a little scared now.
As long as our strength remains.
What'd you do?
And not like this would be any better, but it's not like he's like, man, we'd been fighting for 24 hours straight, and I was finally at my wits' end, and I was drunk, and I didn't know what was going through my mind, and I don't know, man, I just grabbed her. But he's like, she did one snarky remark, and I put that bitch to sleep.
Imagine what else he's done.
I mean, that's
So we're
crazy.
asking David Lucas tales, stories, rumors, send them on over. I want to know everything. But at the end of the day, we'll spare Lucas because he is a person of color. He does need a second chance and a new development, a new upbringing. You get 1 second chance. Because I know growing up in... he better have grown up in the hood. I'll tell you that. If you grew up in the suburbs, there is no excuse. We will find out. But if you did grow up in the hood, you get one chance to clean this up.
A friend to
But
David
you have to
Lucas is a
go
friend to abuse.
on Kill Tony. Here's how you clean this up. You go on Kill Tony and you go, I once choked a woman and I am deeply sorry and I will take whatever punishment I need to learn. You have to do that on Kill Tony. And you have to go, Tony knew about this too the whole time and he said, don't let that story out there. Okay? And then you have 1 year of forgiveness until I hear another tale, and it could be anything. It could be David Lucas might have stolen a joke.
I started crying.
Did you drop her, or you sort of set her on the ground?
Bro, I literally, like, imagine you choking somebody,
Yeah.
and before you know, they just pass out.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I wasn't prepared to catch
William.
her body.
Right.
Ready for
To
orders.
catch her falling body.
Literally and figuratively.
Man, listen.
I wasn't
fallen
prepared to catch a body.
Ready
To
for
catch her
battle.
fallen body.
And then William was literally and figuratively.
To catch a body.
Right.
To catch her falling body.
Literally and figuratively.
Man, listen, bro.
Ready for orders.
When she fell to the ground and she woke up, she was like, what happened?
What'd you say? You slipped in the bathtub?
I told her that she was yelling and then she just
Ready
fell
for
out.
further
Whoa!
What did she say? How'd she take that?
She believed it, but then
Oh!
when we
Whoa! I don't even remember this part. I was so flabbergasted by the first part and the part about the blowjob that
So
I
she
was
doesn't
thinking.
even know this happened to her, and he's
No.
out there telling us like it's funny.
Justice for Desiree.
That's crazy.
So yeah, somebody needs to tell this girl because what if she like?
I mean, don't try to find her and bother her. That's
Not
horrible. I
us,
mean,
not
imagine
us.
if a million people were like, "Did you get strangled by
Oh
David?"
yeah,
It's like, please.
yeah, we're
This is all him.
Yeah,
not
don't
her.
get
Don't
involved.
bother
Yes,
her.
don't bother her. Well, she could be up to no good.
No,
yeah,
do
she
not
could
bother
be.
her. But
She could be a
him-
thief. If you here's what I figure: if you're shacking up with David Lucas, you got to be up to
He
something.
deserves everything that anyone was up to against him.
Of course. I'm just saying, she deserves jail
Ready
too.
for battle.
That's a joke.
What did she say? How'd she take that?
She
We
believed it,
hunger
but
for
then like
battle.
when we later on down the line, I told her I had choked her.
What did she
Oh.
say?
We
Okay.
was just real physical, bro. She used to whip my ass, bro. She broke my
Ready for
laptop,
orders.
and I lied to my mom. And
She just gave you an old-fashioned. Oh boy, you so bad! Get the hell out of here! Choking me. That's fine then. She chased him with a fucking magazine. She whacked them around with a magazine until they both started laughing about it. Got it. Oh, video no longer available. They're really killing me here. I gotta see the end of this video.
Reddit is trying to hide this story.
Oh, they're in bed with it. That guy.
the shit out of these hoes.
Yeah,
Literally like 5 or 6 seconds.
Did
Crying.
you drop her, or you sort of set her on literally and figuratively?
Man, listen, bro. When she fell to the ground and she woke up, she was like, what happened?
What'd you say? You slipped in the bathtub?
I told her that she was yelling and then she just fell out.
What did she say? How'd she take that?
She believed it, but then like when we later on down the line, I told her I had choked her.
What did she say?
We were just real physical, bro. She used to whip my ass, bro. She broke my laptop, and I lied to my mom and told her that I had.
Did that just happen? We got to look at these. What I got here. I wanted to give him one of these. Ah! Cute. This was could have been more than $4.95.
Spirit Halloween is cheap.
Spirit Halloween is getting good. I mean, really, if you're a kid today, you got everything. This even has a clip. You can like wear this. You know? This even has a clip. I could walk around with this. It doesn't need to have a clip for the kid. Police, police. This will last a long time too. And then I got this.
Scan them.
Scan him. I don't know. I think he's got something in him. Oh, I think he's got pretty
As long
cute.
as our strength
We'll have
remains,
these.
we would be
I
honored
also
to
got
count
this
you
for
as
the time
friends
codes. You know how
and
it's always hard for me to see time codes like this? I can't see the time code. I gotta squint. A listener suggested I get these. Time code opera glasses. See? There you go. 137.
Nice.
New edition.
Those are good.
To season 22. These
That's
beautiful
class.
opera glasses. I got these in Etsy. They barely work. I don't even think there's any sort of magnification
It's
in
not.
this.
It's just plain
It's
glass.
literally
I've been
just two
charged to
sheets of
speak.
blurry glass. They don't zoom in. I mean, does it look cool? Yeah, it looks cool. Time codes. You could also examine a fool more. Thank you so much for the idea. To get these, I usually don't take listener ideas ever, but thank you. Those will be here with me forever. Yeah, real quick, just a Freddy mug that I got at the Halloween store because cut to the close-up here, Jules. I just thought Freddy was making a funny face. This almost looks like Theo Vaughn. Look at that. To me, that's... What do I call this face? What have I always called this face? Look at that little face, Jules. You see this? To me, that's extra. That's not your usual Freddy stuff. This is extra. That smile is...
Serving cunt.
Look at him. He's jerky. He's a jerky Jew. Look at that side angle. Wait, go back to this.
But some of these niggas is out here.
Wait. Jerky. See, he's like a Jewish spaz. I just thought that was cute. I bought this.
Earlier, someone in the chat said, does Mike know that Freddy Krueger is from Ohio and the town was created after Youngstown?
Youngstown what? Tony's hometown?
Yes.
No.
Based on Youngstown, I am assuming.
I want to know all that information. Please email that to me in an easy-to-read doc and send it to my email. Thank you so much. I need to know more about that. I'm very interested in Freddy still, but because I went to the Halloween store and he's still front row. He's still, you know, this is bread and butter at the Halloween store.
Look at
Jason,
William beside
Freddy.
you there. That's the face he makes when you tell him you nearly choked your girlfriend to death.
Yeah. Well, we got some William stuff. Should we venture into William? Show people what William did?
Wait, but did you want to do the other Matan thing we had?
Of course. That was, well, yeah, no, let's do that. Let's do that now. Matan is killing it.
And then we'll do that next.
But we'll start with Sam Hyde, right?
Sure.
We will start with Sam Hyde. My friend, I love speaking with Sam. I heard, here's a rumor, that Josh Denny is no longer working on the Sam Hyde tour. That might be, wait, Josh Denny was working. Yes, somehow Josh Denny weaseled, scammed his way in, even, to,
inevitability of, like, all of their demise is inevitable. It is all inevitable. So I think that they're just trying to create a financial asset with a media and content plan that they can just offload at some point, make a big fat paycheck, and then go on to the next business venture that they're about. I don't think that they actually care about, like, you know, we want to win over MMA. Like, what about what they do makes you think they want to win over? Not you. I'm just saying the proverbial you. Like, what would make anybody think that that's what they really want to do is win over MMA fans? Like, how? You don't do nothing that would ever win them over. You know, maybe you can feel it differently if you're in France or if you're in the UK or something. But stateside, like, give me a fucking break. If Alex Pereira, not Pededa, goes on to defeat Ankalaev and Aspinall, is there really much left for him? Man, at that point, you got to go beat up Jake Paul or something. Also, I feel like this would grant him a really cushy spot in the greatest runs of all time conversations with other Rumble equations. Listen, if he goes out there and beats Ankalaev, which is very possible, and then Aspinall, unlikely, but if he were to do that, dude, you're talking, I mean, you were a Glory champ, then you were a middleweight UFC champ, then you were a light heavyweight UFC champ, and then under that, I'm gonna guess by if that ever happened, he would be at that point I'm gonna guess by that point Aspinall is a full-on class champion. So that would make Poatan the first triple champion in MMA in a major organization, and in particular the UFC. Dude, like, that is one of the most remarkable and impossible things that could ever happen to a fighter. Talking about greatest speed runs, it would be the greatest speed run. It'd be the greatest one. It'd be far and away. Like, first guy to get, or first lady, whoever, first person to get triple champ status is already going to be immortalized. You do it off the back of his career, which is just fast-tracked right to the front of the line, but then made good on it. You know, even with the loss to Izzy, it wouldn't really matter.
Stand easy! Stand easy!
Dana confirms Strickland is next for DDP. Sort of did, yeah. Who do you think wins? That's tough, man. And what changes in their game plans do you see? I suspect that you're going to see a busier... If the problem is Strickland is inherently defensive, then you just have to make him go to the comfort zone where he's just acting defensive. So I think you heard what DDP said last time. It was a volume play. I suspect that the volume play goes up. Now, what you also saw from Strickland a little bit in his last fight was him trying to like plant and go more for offense. I think it had mixed results. I don't know if he'll be able to do that all that effectively against DDP. But like, here's the thing about it, man. Their first fight was close. I would imagine their second fight would be close too. Strickland's going to force trench warfare, and then you're just lobbing bombs from either side, hoping that something lands. And if you just lob enough of them, you know, you get the dub. So it's going to be another close one, another really, really close one. Let's see.
At speed.
Wait. Hello, Luke. I hate conspiracy theories myself, but after the last MK episode talking about Poetan, I can't help but wonder if the UFC now has it in their internal business strategy to intentionally focus on building fun fighters that like to fight only, i.e. fighters that can fight on short notice and is fun and are fun, like Poetan and Colin. Is it... Okay, so this is interesting. It's like they realize that, one, they don't care about building megastars anymore given their business model. I'm not sure how possible it is to build a megastar anymore. Two, they'd rather be known as the Mega Fight Organization. 3, they'd rather have a roster full of fighters on their fingertips and treat them like employees. They definitely want to treat them like employees. So, I don't think it's really as complex as that. They have a certain amount of dates that they have to keep up, right? They have a content delivery that they owe a certain amount of fight nights, some of those on ESPN, some on ESPN Plus. They just owe a certain amount of fights to their provider every single month, every single year. They have to make sure that they deliver on that promise. That's the first problem. The second problem is they have to do it on all the different systems. A certain amount of Contender Series events, a certain amount of, again, ESPN, a certain amount of pay-per-view, right? They have to deliver on all of this, and they just need fighters to staff it. The vast majority of the fights that get made, a lot of them are like, hey, we want that guy to fight that guy, yes. But then someone gets injured, they're not available, they don't want it. They still have to fill that date. They got to fill that card. They got to put people on it. So the people who say yes just tend to be the most valuable to them, and the ones that are ready tend to be the most valuable for them. Poetan, being an elite guy doing that, makes him something of a unicorn because there's just not a lot of people at his level, a championship level, quite literally, who are willing to take these kinds of risks and these kinds of bouts. I think he's benefiting from the fact that he's got a, again, relatively speaking, a weaker division to lord over. I think if he were at 155, he would have already lost his title by now. You just can't really do that at that level and expect to keep winning all the time. However, he has won. He has won spectacularly because of it. So, to me, that's really what this is about. They need headliners. He's willing to be a headliner for them in a way that other headliners are simply not. Other headliners are just not going to say yes under the conditions that he regularly and routinely in the 175 days has in fact said yes. There's just other guys who won't do that. But he will. So that makes it quite unique. But the point you're trying to raise is that they one of those guys who are like fun fighters, you know, that like to fight on a regular basis. Guys, this is the Strikeforce Scott Coker model. Now, less so about like turning them over all the time, but Strikeforce was filled with two different things. One, they would give you tune-up fights in Strikeforce. They'd give a big star a fight that they could relatively easily to make them look good. And fans loved it. There's really nothing wrong with it. It's a fun thing to do. The other one they would do is they would, beyond just giving a fun guy a win, they would, because of his identity, they would create certain championships to kind of facilitate that on a regular basis. But like it's the Scott Coker Strikeforce model. Let's give, like for example, like what is Paul Daly doing? And again, that happened like that plant. You can go look at some of the, look at many of other big fights in Strikeforce, like the Frank Shamrock one. Partly that was generational, but partly that was also just, we know that's going to be ongoing, that's going to last, there's going to be acrimony, but let's give this guy a fight that makes him good. And it works. It absolutely works. Look at Poetan now. That is more, in my judgment, about building a calendar, but you have the secondary effect of it being like, he's just action-oriented. he's fighting other guys that aren't even part of the takedown. Like building guys on the Strike Force. Scott Coker did some of that in Bellator, but not nearly as much. Also, the Bellator roster wasn't really as good in terms of the high-level guys as the Strike Force roster was, you know. But or at a bare minimum, Strike Force had more high-level fighters at the very, very top. But that was Scott Coker Strike Force. Scott Coker in Strike Force did a very good job. The Bellator project, I think the record's a little bit more mixed. But still in Strike Force, it's some good calls. Why does it seem fighters refuse to wrestle Poatan, especially knowing his background? Even incredibly with lower the quality of Alex's striking. Guys, remember what I told you with a big long video that like light heavyweight is not as good as it once was? Okay, I don't know if Phil Davis beats Poatan, but he easily beats everybody else. Like not the current, like Phil Davis in his prime, he beats everybody else. Like, without question. Like, not even a doubt in Rumble probably would too. Because those guys could both, not, Phil Davis couldn't have struggled that much, but Rumble could definitely strike and Phil Davis. These are all at the same time, like, DC could wrestle, John Jones could wrestle. It's like, guys, you're talking about a relatively weak weight class. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it makes for fun fights. I'm not like mad at it for that, but you just got to be realistic about what it is. You know what I mean? You're just dealing with a relatively weak division. You could never get away with that shit too. You get your ass fucking. Who gets it? Frequent flyer miles, my friend. You would get dumped on your head. They weren't going to play that game at all. And now you can just do it. And that's not Poatan's fault. I mean, he's not making these guys do it. They just want to stand it. I mean, well, Yuri took him down in the first fight, and then I think he tried the second one, and it didn't go great. But to the point I'm trying to raise, like, getting somebody like the Division I national champion, Phil Davis, with like, in his prime, ridiculous explosivity, you know. I think you're talking about a very different division in a situation like that. Let's see. This is Ankalaev, yeah. Hey, Lug. You've made some of your thoughts on Ankalaev clear, but it would be great to hear them all in one fell swoop. Can you give us all your thoughts on one, the full breadth of what he's done in the past to bring Donk?
At your command.
An honest take on his skills and potential. Well, his skills are pretty considerable. They're pretty considerable. I mean, there's nothing he can't really, like, not do. He can wrestle decently. I don't know what his jiu-jitsu or his submission game looks like, you know, in its full depth, but it seems from what we've gathered, from what I can tell, let me pull up his record here. You know, his positioning is certainly, I could say that, like, obviously position is going to affect submission ability, and his positioning is pretty good. It's pretty good. Let's see.
We hunger for battle.
So, let's see. God, look at that. I forgot about this. He had all those Kute Lava donk situations that were just kind of weird. So, he's had a few of these. I mean, he's got a lot. First of all, like his UFC debut, he gets choked out at the last, literally the last possible second. Right? So he's winning this bout, and then he just gets triangle choked by Paul Craig, and a guy who he should never have lost to. He was winning that fight handily up until he lost it, so that's kind of weird. And then, you know, you go look at the fight against Blachowicz, and the choices he made about standing with him were just suboptimal, to put it
Make haste, man.
lightly. Then just making, I mean, it wasn't his fault in the Johnny Walker fight, but also, like, well, the first one it was because he fouls him, and it was, you know, like, just not having discipline about what he wanted to do. So, like, between not fighting in the optimal position, where you're fighting in Paul Craig's guard, you're not aggressively wrestling Blachowicz well enough, That's a problem. Then you have a problem with disciplining around fouls. That's a problem. It's
At
like,
your command.
if you just judged him on his ability, and then the fight, what was the one he had that was like so terrible, but he went the full distance? Was it the Diego Santos fight? Which one was that? Yes, which was absolutely dreadful. He just doesn't seem like, how do I explain this? I call into question his decision-making ability, which is, it's partly fight IQ, but it's a little bit more than that, or a little bit unrelated to that. It's like, if you wanted to build someone who, like, hey, are they big enough? Yes. Are they strong enough? Yes. Are they young enough? Yes. Do they have enough of a full body of skills to be, you know, relevant as a threat everywhere? Yes. Yes. And then you say, okay, well, just send them out there to fight. And then you watch and you're like, okay, but we didn't get the decision making about this. Like, his ability to make a read and then adjust around it, or his ability to be disciplined about a particular game plan, or his ability to recognize like where this fight should be fought and where it shouldn't be without issue. You know, like Volkanovski will go into somebody's guard, but this is like, he's doing it with a real big purpose, and like he really puts a stamp on it. He was just hanging out in Paul Craig's guard. Like, this is a red flag kind of thing to me. So that's why the fight with Poaton's weird. It's like, does he have the skills to get Poaton down? Yep. Yes, absolutely. No question about it. Does he have great boxing? He does. He definitely has very, very good boxing. Does he have the ability to finish Poaton depending on how the fight goes? Yes, of course. Like, he's got good enough experience and everything else, but like, he just makes decisions about where he should be and what he should be doing that make you scratch your head often enough where you're like, okay, this is not a one-off. This is the thing that like plagues him. That's kind of my issue. This is a great question. I love this question. Do you think there's been a villainization of wrestling among new fans? You look at Pereira's matchmaking, the Salt Lake crowd booing any kind of grappling, the treatment of Bautista and Mokaev getting cut, and I feel like wrestling heavy fighters are being treated worse than ever before. So yes and no. Yes and no. Definitely what I can say is, having been watching MMA for a very long time, wrestling and grappling has never mattered less. I can absolutely say that with certainty. I mean, however bad you think it is, like, oh, these wrestling guys are holding people against the mat. I mean, this used to be 15 minutes of this.
Ready for battle.
Event after event, week after week, frankly, for a while, year after year. Year after year. And we have done some updating of the judging to counteract some of this. And I have been a fan of calling stalling so that people can, like, be forced to pursue the fight effectively rather than dealing with this bullshit. And people have the nerve to like fight back on that. So for example, I love Sadiq Youssef. Shouts to Sadiq Youssef, he's a great guy, but I saw him arguing, I think this was yesterday on Twitter, being like, you know, are you trying to like create a maximally entertaining product, or do you want to actually find out who's the best? If someone gets someone up, you know, down on the ground or up against the fence and they can't extricate themselves, you know, leave them there. I just, you know, because that's a genuine test of ability, and I just couldn't disagree with that more. Guys, there's nothing genuine about MMA. I mean, partly at its core, there's something genuine. Like, guys, two people, you have women as well, but two guys are fist fighting, right? That is a very, very like, you know, primal kind of thing. But we've got gloves, that's not natural. We've got rounds, that's not natural. We've got judges, that's not natural. We've got weigh-ins, that ain't natural. We've got weight cutting, that's not natural. I mean, there's any number of things that we do that make all of this artificial, arbitrary, just kind of things we've introduced that make us feel better, or we think make it more competitive, or certainly in some cases safer, but not always, and in definitely cases not at all. We've already introduced a bunch of rules. It is very hard for me to understand how, if somebody is visibly stalling in a position for a minute, asking them to work changes what we're actually getting now in real time into something more authentic. It doesn't give you anything more authentic. It gives you something boring. And actually, I would argue stalling out in a position is just a way to control the clock, which, by the way, itself is artificial. Time limits, that's artificial. You're using one artificial technique to game another one. This actually reduces that. So like this notion that like wanting to introduce excitement into the game as some kind of artificial input, I just feel like is getting it exactly backwards. You're asking, is there more villainization of wrestling than there ever has been? Yes. On the scorecards, it's never mattered less. Now, I'm trying to make wrestling matter in a different way. I'll get to that, but certainly the fans have less tolerance for it in certain circumstances, although I kind of understand that. However, what I would say is partly this is also missing the point. Now, not everybody can be Habib, not everybody can be Islam Makhachev, not everybody can be Demian Maia or something like that. But if you've got a ground game where you can control with your legs, their legs, and you can capture a wrist with your wrist, and you have a free hand to rain fire from the heavens upon them, fans are never going to be upset about this. Your wrestling has to be more than the ability to hold and maintain control positions. Your wrestling and your grappling have to be weaponized. This is why I find the argument that like, oh, if someone's got someone pressed up against the cage, you should just let it rock. What the fuck are we doing that for? They're not weaponizing anything. They're looking at the clock and just waiting for it to expire. That's not weaponizing anything. Fans will appreciate it if you advance position, if you threaten with submissions, if you rain fire upon
there is
them,
much honor in
because you have the
accepting
kind of
this
grappling
offer.
that allows for that. No one ever booed Habib.
There is much honor in
certainly
accepting
in the
this
later
very
days.
well.
I mean, maybe there was a round or something, you know, when he was beating the Kamal Shalarousas of the world or whatever. But certainly early in his career, or later in his career, you never saw that. Why? Because he's putting the fucking beat down on these people. He was taking their back. He was breaking down their base. He was smashing them to pieces. Fans are never going to get in the way of that. I'm trying to argue for a rule set that facilitates that, not the opposite. So, like, on the one hand, do I also find it troubling that grappling has never mattered less? Yes. However, if you actually want grappling to matter, you have to not allow for people to milk the clock by stalling. That's how you get fans to appreciate grappling. You have to grapple. How do fans appreciate wrestling? You have to wrestle through. That's how. Just, you know, oh, I've got two hands around the waist. I'm gonna pick you up and then mat return you. And you're not gonna be able to break my lock because it's like, you know, I'm gonna grip inside my own glove, like Tim Wolf was telling me that Marab does.
For God himself!
I'm gonna do this for 15 minutes and expect people to be like, oh, wrestling is awesome. That's not fucking awesome. That's stalling.
Commander.
So
We hunger for battle.
make wrestling a weapon, not a blanket. Make grappling a weapon. Or they're like, oh, it's easier said than done. It's hard for people to maintain control. Get better at it. Like, that's the job that if you fight in MMA, you have elected to, or don't wrestle at all, and then just get really good at defense.
Commander.
But if you're going to wrestle, wrestle. If you're going to do jiu-jitsu, do it. Don't just hold. Or, you know, hold and then just busy work on top of an, you know, chest to chest. I'm not even trying to, like, accept any danger. No, it's a dangerous sport. Into the fray. Not around it, not under it, not over it. Into it. Into it. That's the issue. Let's see. Oh, all right. I went over my allotted time.
At your command.
Let's do this one more time, if I may. We'll get to the paid part of the questions now. Appreciate everyone watching. One more reminder, boys and girls. One more reminder. Toiletries. You know the deal. 15% off. LT15. You can get that
Commander.
right there. Look at that. Look at that. That's nice. In your face. Right? And then, of course, this is the one I use every single day. Right here. Coastal Pine Beard Wash. You can use it 15% off right there. 15% off. LT15. Toiletries.com. For folks who are listening to the audio podcast, TOOLETRIES.com. Toiletries.com. All right. Let's see what we got on the paid side, and then we'll go we'll go from there. All right. Quite Right says, what new health practices can be implemented to lengthen a fighter's career and minimize brain body damage / CTE besides red light therapy, bioaccelerators? That's just stem cells. Hyperbaric chambers. I don't think that does anything long term. NAD plus IV therapy.
Wisdom,
I guess that can do some stuff in the short term. And then altitude machines. Most of those are performance related, not like, understand something. When we talk about health of a fighter, performance is separate, right? A football player's ability to perform their task, whether we're talking American football or world football, whatever, their ability to perform their task is not necessarily in keeping with what's best for their long-term health. Are you good enough to get out there and play tonight? Do you need a shot of cortisol to minimize your pain? Do you need some KT tape? You know, whatever the case. But that's not actually good for his long-term health. That's just good enough to perform their job function on any given playing field. What you're talking about is not exclusively, but mostly related to short-term performance or health as it relates to performance. If you want guys to get less CTE, there's just, I think, guidelines about the amount and kind of sparring that they do. Basically, okay, that's a little unfair, because what you're talking about is also, especially with the stem cell, like regenerative stuff for tissue, or basically helping with recovery, right? And so the more you take recovery seriously over the long term, the more that can play a role. So let me back up a step. It's not quite right what I'm saying. At least it's not. There's a question about it. I just want to make sure that we understand the distinction. It is important for both the short term and the long term that recovery is taken seriously. On the other hand, we should also have a clear sense in mind about what is designed for on-field or in-cage performance versus what is designed for long-term health. And like, just getting your head bashed in is going to be, that's just always going to be bad. You have to just minimize the amount of that, you know. I mean, then there's different orthopedic concerns, but relevant just the same. Thomas, welcome to the party. Jason says, Luke, did you know Poeton's walkout song is a Sepultura track? My phone identifies background music and just found out myself. What is it? It's not Roots. What is it? I actually don't know what it is, but that's awesome. Ray says, Luke, imagine Jones defeats Stipe, okay, retires, vacates the belt, Aspinall versus Pereira, Wembley Stadium, spring 2025. That would, in fact, be incredible. Seems like a lot of things have to fall into place, but that would be sick. Also, have you seen the main and co-main event fighter payout? All apparently got 1 million. Is it accurate? No, it is not accurate.
Commander.
I don't think that commission releases any information about fighter pay. In fact, I'm pretty sure that they don't. So it's bullshit. Giles says, Luke, I work in analysis. Recently, I found that in 135, 185-pound fighters with reach to height ratio of 1 have more wins, but in 145, 155, a ratio of 1.05, so a 3.5-inch reach difference, shows more wins. What do you think drives this difference? Jesus. So in 135, at bantamweight and at middleweight, fighters with a reach to height ratio of 1 have more wins. But in that middle section, 145, 155, not counting 170, a ratio of 1. I don't know that there's. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know how to answer that. I really don't. There are so many factors that can play a role with this that it's very, very difficult to say with any degree of certainty. It's certainly something that you would want to further follow, like what kind of body proportion follows success at various weight classes.
We have long admired your powerful
but
armies.
This is just not enough information for me to make any kind of informed judgment.
I spoke with
JP says, hi Luke, I like what you said last week about legacy and how it's kind of BS. Some might take that as a nihilist view, but I found what you said to be calming. Just got to make the most of it. People always think that I'm always being negative, which is not unfair. I am being negative a lot. However, I actually find it to be
You
much
should be
more
honored
freeing
that I
than
make
anything
such an
else.
offer in the name
Not
of
talking about
your
like, oh, you're
decision.
going to be. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel again, but like you're going to be remembered, and what's your legacy going to be? And the reality is, dude, none of us are going to have legacy. Like almost none of us. And maybe someone here watching is going to be a future president of the United States, and in that case, you'll have some. But there's been the vast majority of presidents. You couldn't tell me one thing that they ever did, other than Abraham Lincoln got assassinated, and Franklin Delano Roosevelt was responsible for the New Deal, and helped us fight World War II. But like, beyond that, tell me about the signature achievements of Taft or Coolidge or whatever. It would just be very difficult to do. And again, some of those you will be able to, but like these are like some of the most important people in modern or relatively-ish modern history. That's not you and me. That's not our lot in life. That's just not what's going to happen. So like the way I keep trying to understand it is not that like nothing you do matters, but rather do things that matter to you. Do things that make you happy. Do things that you want to do. Spend time with the people that you like. Enjoy it, because this is our one chance to do it. And then and then that's it. Like it's an opportunity to just not have to worry about what the ultimate end is. When none of us are almost with total certainty are going to be remembered. So find peace where you can. Do the things that you want to do while you can. It simplifies the task, actually. Right? Now you actually know what it's really about. This is where we are. This is all it's. I mean, I don't know if there's a heaven. I don't believe in one, but of course I have no way of knowing. None of us do. Or a hell. This is what we have. So just do stuff here that you like.
Ready for battle.
And that's it. And I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly okay with that.
Commander.
Mua says, Better Beov's coach, John Scully, said he's never seen Bivol
That's
work
your
on the
command.
inside. Bivol is a great outfighter, but will lack infighting to be his undoing.
fighters.
Yeah, but the question is, can Better Beov
At your
put him
command.
there? That's the issue. That's the issue. And I think, obviously, in parts he will be able to, but for how long? How long will he be able to have Bivol against the ropes? And he's just pounding him on the inside. Like, I don't... That to me is the question. And maybe the central question. Someone says, does women's MMA lack technique because so many of their coaches are also their husband/partner? So they're being trained to avoid damage so they stay attractive? I think that's a little bit of a stretch. I don't know if they're training them to be maximally attractive. I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. I just think that you're getting a lot of people who come to combat sports like late. Some of them were never even athletes growing up. Some were, obviously, but a lot of them weren't. They're just they're not learning it early in life. They're learning a version of it later in life. You're just not going to be that good under those conditions. If you're not very athletic and you learn it later, how good can you possibly be? Even if you're very, very tough and determined. So I think it's just a function of like how many people were recruiting to it, how early, and under what circumstances. Hi Tom says, can you think of fighters that have developed KO power over the course of their career? Side note, amazing that nobody mentions Israel government prophecy talk. Okay, I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. But how about Max Holloway? Max Holloway has explicitly said he and his team, they have worked on KO power late in his career. Look at the results. Now, I feel like you kind of always have to be close to it, and you might have to change your style a little bit to get there. And maybe Max has done that to a degree. But Max is a perfect example that you can do this. Please No Boss said, the customizable shorts for the UFC title fights have been great. What other features do you think the UFC should give to fighters to better express themselves in their persona? Guys, I saw, and I love it, I think his name is ACD MMA Shots. That guy, he's amazing. He makes me laugh. He's got hilarious memes all the time. He was like, yo, these Alex Peloton shorts are going to be iconic. Guys, they used to let fighters make their own shorts every single event, and I can tell you they were as good or better than that. Like, some were worse, obviously, but many were better. Like, I don't consider, I mean, they're iconic in the sense because what Peloton is doing is very special, right? But like by themselves, they're not. They're all right. They're all right. And like this kind of thing used to happen all the time. All the time. My favorite, I'll tell you, my favorite is the one that it's not really MMA, but in boxing, when Lomachenko fought Teofimo Lopez, and he had the Matrix code coming down his like the code was dropping on the screen on the actual trunks themselves. Like that was sick. That's my favorite. But like this used to be a thing that they all did. It's just newer fans can't even fathom that it used to happen, but trust me, it did. Alan W says, Luke, we know your PFL. It's not PFL hate. I don't like go to bed being like, man, fuck the PFL. I'm just looking at what it is and being like, what do you all want me to say about it? Anyway, he's joking here. He says it stems from Randy Couture stiffing you in interviews. Guys, I didn't go seeking those interviews. They came to us and were like, hey, do you want Randy? We're like, yeah, sure, we'll take him. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about Randy. I don't know why those interviews didn't work out, but I don't care. It's whatever. You can cantankerous summa B. Smart Cage for life. Guys, criticism of PFL does not equate to I can't sleep at night because of how much I dislike them. It's got nothing to do with it. Like, we have to be adults about this. You know what I mean? Alakazam, can we talk about how slick on the mic Totori is? In Spanish. In Spanish, not so much in English, but in Spanish. Do you have any good Temelac stories? You mean Telemac? Telemac was my grandfather. No, I never knew him. I never knew him. Zoom says, Luke, any early thoughts on Max Ilya? I think it'll be the best fight this year.
Our men flee the field of
The
battle.
most high-level fight,
This is a
for sure.
shameful display.
It's the best fight MMA can make. I think it's a big test of Ilya over the long term, especially if the fight goes into championship rounds. Because I think Max is going to want to put a pace on him. And it's an opportunity for Ilya to, if he is, to show the world he's arguably the best fighter on earth. Which I think he has. I'm not saying he is. He's not until he does anything that proves that, so he's not. But if I had to ask him who's got potential to prove that, I think he's got the
Our
potential.
general is being attacked. Keep him alive.
Connor says, think Barca look good so far this year. They do. They do. What's his face? Lewandowski had like a hat trick the other day. Seems to be putting together a good squad. Any worries yet? You know what? Barca is the king of these underage frauds. And people are going to say they're not. Every time I bring up a Barcelona fraud, everyone tells me they're not a fraud, but they're a fraud like Ansu Fati. Well, he's not a fraud relative to what they were saying about him. He was winning the Ballon d'Or this year. Pedri, Gavi, overrated as shit. But that kid, Lamine Yamal, I don't ever worry when Pedri and Gavi are on the field. I don't give a fuck. They do not. Lamine Yamal. Henry says, have you had the chance to watch the Vince McMahon documentary? No, I did watch Deadpool versus Wolverine. Enjoy it. We should be surprised if years down the line we all find out shady things about Dana White, much like Epstein. Okay, I'm not going to compare Dana White to some of the world's worst sexual abusers until there is a shred of evidence to suggest such a thing. So, I mean, would it surprise me if anyone with significant power, whether private or public, engaged in some special degree of malfeasance? No, it would not surprise me. But we need to be very careful about how we frame some of these public discussions. Alexander welcome to the party.
Lethal blow.
Mutin says, Israel worse than Iran, Hezbollah. Do this one. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know how to answer that. I would say that. I don't even want to get into it. I don't even want to get into it. I mean, what was the I will just say that one more time. My basic worldview is very simple. Until the world decides to recognize not merely the value, but frankly, the necessity of an independent, sovereign Palestinian state, none of us will know this. Not the Americans, not the Israelis, not the Iranians, not the Palestinians, certainly not the Palestinians, and neither the Lebanese now as well. Until that reality is met, until the military occupation of Israel is ended, and some other factors as well, but until that happens, it is impossible for this world to achieve peace. Because the reason why Hamas and Hezbollah exist, among other reasons, they are religious organizations, but they're also political organizations as well as military organizations. They exist as resistance to Israeli occupation or belligerence. We have to get rid of, we have to create a Palestinian state in order to remove these factors. Is it okay, FRS asks, for me to not want Powhatan to fight a wrestler? I don't want him tested. I just want more of what we've been getting from these fights. Is it okay for me? Yeah, I mean, I don't know how. I mean, at some point, if you want the guy to be champion and in the biggest fights, he kind of has to answer for it. But if they want to give him, and I'm not calling Khalil Roundtree a tune-up, that's not what I'm saying. A tune-up would be someone like outside the top 15. But as long as they give him fights like that that are winnable but manageable, you know what I mean? Like, he can kind of, you know, he's not going to, doesn't have to worry too much about the wrestling. It's still a good fighter. You can get tested, but he still, you know, class shows in the end. Then keep giving him more of those. But it's just very hard to be in the position that he's in and be like, oh, I don't ever have to answer for my wrestling. Like, you do. Trevon says, regardless of who wins, how do things come back together after November and after January? They don't. Will we be divided for another 4 years? How do you think things play out? I don't know. I think in either case, there's... I think if Trump comes back to office, there's going to be on all different kinds of directions, political violence. He seems to be, he seems to attract it, and it seems to follow him. And you're like, oh, it's because of the Democrats. Well, that's really not who's shooting them. But these differences are not going to be magically healed with one election. And the reality is, you could have